Hello, and welcome to the first episode of the Binge Boys podcast. I am one of your four hosts today. My name's Enrique.
I'm Eli.
What's going on? I'm Austin. On Instagram, Austin David Carter on Instagram.
And this is your boy T-Max at Mixed in Traxwell on Twitter.
And we are here today to talk to you guys about the different TV series we are watching. We selected for this podcast to watch The Shooter Season 1 on Netflix, and it was a USA original show. We'll be talking about that later in the podcast, but first I want to discuss our rules. Everyone here decided that we're going to go in a list where everyone submits an idea, and then we'll spin a wheel, decide who goes first. We'll watch that person's show, and depending on how many seasons that show is, we'll vote yes or no to continue watching it, and we will then watch the entire series in a row. Before we get to that, we will be talking about what we watched this week, or in this past 2 weeks, and what we enjoyed. Does anyone want to volunteer to go first for what we've watched this week? Hello?
Go ahead.
I think you just volunteered yourself, Rick.
I'll go ahead.
That's
I'll
you,
go.
man.
I'll go.
Tristan's going. Let's get it.
All
Get
right,
it.
Tristan wants first? Okay, Tristan wants first.
All right. So, I mean, it's AGT season again since it's the summer. I'm up to date on America's Got Talent. It's still weird not having Nick Cannon as the host, but at least it's not Tyra Banks anymore.
So for people who don't know, what is AGT?
America's Got Talent is the greatest talent search on the planet. There's a good, like 6 or 7 branches off of it. Like Australia's Got Talent, Britain's Got Talent. It's just a big old talent show. Terry Crews is the host now. I like Terry Crews though.
Fuck Terry Crews.
With that. Whoa. There it is.
God damn. Hey, I was planning on having him in the podcast next episode. But...
Fuck him.
So, well, he's better than Tyra Banks, let me tell you. Oh, I don't know. It's pretty exciting. The only bummer so far is that 3 of the 5 golden buzzers, 3 golden buzzers have been used, and they've all been used on like singing acts, which is just about the worst because I'm tired of seeing singers on America's Got Talent overall. Because they have other shows they can go to, like
What's
The
been
Voice or American Idol.
I agree with that.
Facts.
My exceptions, like one of them that got one was a kid. Like go anywhere, whatever. One of them was a choir, and so like they can't really go anywhere else. But I also hate seeing choirs on AGT. They're stupid.
God damn.
Nah, none of them are ever even that good. That's the problem. Like I don't enjoy them that much.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel.
Loving the
And so
bold
it's
names
just
off
like
rip.
whatever, dude. Like I enjoy acapella stuff plenty, but it's not like that.
What's been your
And
favorite
then-
act so far?
Oh boy.
Because I don't watch that show, so I don't watch it.
No, you're fine. So far this season, only been like 1 or 2 that caught my eye. I don't know. There was this 80-year-old dude that came on and did comedy on like this last week's episode, and he actually was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
There's another comedian that I enjoyed.
All right, so what? Okay, so the counterpoint, you're right. So fuck the singers that come onto that show, but all the comedians who could go to Comedy Central instead, they're cool.
Well, I mean, comedy's a lot harder to get into,
I'd say I
Like,
feel like
it's
Comedy
just-
Central's a lot. I feel like Comedy Central's a lot harder to get into than America's Got Talent, though. But he's talking. There's so many
Yeah.
more outlets. There's like The Voice. There's American
Yeah.
Idol. There's so many more outlets for all the singers.
and like I guess
It should
hypothetically there
emphasis-
was like Last Comic Standing, but I think you have to get invited to that anyways. Granted, you have to get invited to The Voice, but like still. And
Last
then
Comic Standing was a lot of big names too.
I'm gonna be a little bit hypocritical as well. Say that one of my favorite acts so far was this guy who's a singer. But almost more because I mean he had a good voice, but like he just last year got released from prison after 37 years for a crime he didn't commit.
West Side, throw it up. Sorry.
God.
And then he came on and he sang and it was like super emotional. I was like, ooh. And so that was cool that he was able to do that. And he actually was pretty good, so that's nice.
That's cool. I mean, you love to
It's
hear stories like
exciting.
that, but that's what that whole fucking system is. It's just people's sad stories.
Yeah, at this point, it kind of is, which is getting a little annoying, but like I get it.
It's like the draft this year where like everyone was like, "This guy's parents killed themselves when he was 5 years old."
For real, they were like, his best friend was held at gunpoint and then decapitated by the Mexican cartel. It's like, what?
ISIS bombed his house when he was 4.
Nah, the NFL did them dirty too.
Well, they really did. They were like, "Hey, we know this is a big day for you, but let's remember the worst days."
Yeah, your mom and your girlfriend are both dead. That's rough, man.
And one of them had your child.
What else you been watching?
Like, dude. Well, I guess today's Sunday. Yesterday, I decided to watch all 8 Harry Potter movies. Mm-hmm. Calendar day. I started at midnight. And I finished a little bit after 7, probably.
AM? PM?
PM. So it took me about 19 plus hours.
Fuck.
Gosh, jeez, man.
Yo, and I didn't sleep all night, so like I didn't really rest before this either. So I'll be honest, dude, I was so freaking tired. Like, just oh my goodness, because I had to try not to like fall asleep during the movies. I can't stay up like I used to, you know.
You're not a beast no more.
It's just not the same anymore.
You're getting old, bitch.
A little bit, man. A little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But it was fun to do overall. I did not get
what
I would out of it.
You did not get what? You cut out.
Oh dang! I did not get all the satisfaction out of it that I would have hoped.
Why?
I think.
You think they dog shit now?
Well, no, not even that. I mean, I still love them all the same. I think one of the contributing factors was how tired I was.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
Another one of the contributing factors, I think, is that I realize now that watching them back to back to back like that does not give the same kind of grandiose build-up effect.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's like I obviously watched them like when they were coming out in theaters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you have all that suspense building up over all these years.
Yeah.
Granted, I cried, shed some tears when they did the Snape backstory scene like at the end of the last movie. Oh, that got me good. No, not that one. The one where he's like when he dies and he's like, "Take my tears." He's like, "Watch this," and Harry goes and watches it, and it's like him being all sad and simpy over Lily for his whole life, and I'm like,
talk about when Snape was like, "I should have been your father, Harry. Me, I should have been your dad."
I'm like, relatable. He sends the Patronus, and Dumbledore's all like, "Really?" He goes, "For all these years." Snape hits him with. I'm like, "Ooh."
Oh damn! Dude, you're cutting out so much, but yeah, no, I get it.
Come on,
turn into butter.
Andy, get some better fucking quality.
Man, I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what the issue is.
Another thing about those movies is like they don't do a great job of like leading into each other like story wise. Like they kind of just start with a new concept every time. Like, except for the second movie, obviously.
No, you're right, but that's because they don't really do anything for the summers in between school.
Yeah, no, Harry just like kill himself during the summer. It's like, what the fuck does he do there in those? I never read the books, so I don't know. Like,
well, they don't discuss it much in the book. They only
give you like 15 minutes of like, oh look, he's in the summer right now. Oh, now we're on the train back to Hogwarts.
Well,
so they give you like 15 minutes.
Part of that is because I think in one or two of them they discuss. I think in the second book they discuss a little bit, but like it's like we don't care about him being abused at home.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
Well, no, like we don't want to listen to that the whole time. We know that's happening.
I don't care that you got your ankle broken. Like, what? Goddamn, Tristan, just fuck him, I guess.
God, Harry, get out of the closet for once. Goddamn.
Shit.
Goddamn, Harry, shut the hell up. We know you get beat every day. Get over it. Come on.
We lock it for a reason.
We here at the Binge Boys do not promote domestic violence or child abuse.
No, we do not.
I just want to put that out there.
Or we don't even I lost the word for it, but that's okay.
We don't
condone.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and go up with what I've been watching. I've been watching this stupid show I found on Netflix called Happy. And basically,
Gilmore?
it's a
that
no,
one.
no. It's just Happy with exclamation points on Netflix. Y'all can find it on Netflix. Trying to get that Netflix sponsorship, you know what I'm saying?
Call us.
So, right. So basically, it's about a disowned cop, basically. And
okay, yes.
Okay. It's about a.
I want to make sure what you're talking about.
Okay, yes.
It's basically about a disowned cop who is separated from his wife because of a mistress he had, and he had a daughter. And in some odd fashion, basically, his daughter gets captured by this. It's gonna sound crazy now. Y'all gotta stay with me. By this demonic Santa character who has like 15 kids in custody.
Okay.
Oh man.
And drugs them. And but this daughter the daughter has a imaginary friend, and when she gets captured, she sends the imaginary friend to go get her dad, because when she was growing up without her father, because her father was disowned at that point. And
right.
when she was growing up, she had this photo of her dad like saving the day or something, receiving some sort of medal when he was this hotshot cop, but he's not that anymore necessarily. He's now, heavily into alcohol and, and just stuff like that. He went down the wrong road. But when she gets captured by this demonic figure, she sends her imaginary friend to go get her dad to come save her, because that's the hero vibe that she's always gotten from her, and sends the imaginary friend, and the imaginary friend can only be seen by her dad. And like it's a weird relationship between him and the imaginary friend. It's really weird. It's heavily influenced by drugs and alcohol, and it's honestly something I just kind of throw on the TV when I'm trying to go to sleep, or then I find myself like, wow, this is like a very weird outlook on things, and I'll watch it until like 4:00 in the morning sometimes. So I kind of just throw it on the background, but it's definitely an interesting concept. It's a modern take on slapstick comedy, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So you definitely gotta, if you're interested, just throwing something up, maybe looking on your phone a little bit, watching it back and forth. You can definitely do that. And yeah, it's a little bit more. What I've been watching is a little bit more precise and a little bit more condensed than necessarily what Tristan's been watching. But that's what I've been watching.
Fair
enough.
So like, this is just like a crackhead's like fever dream that you're watching, basically.
I can say there's multiple scenes where influenced by drugs and alcohol, and it's a very interesting outlook on that, on how drugs and alcohol influence a person in that sense.
Okay.
No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Actually, that sounds kind of cool. I looked it up on Netflix while you're kind of talking about it. See the cover art? That shit looks fucking nuts. I'm gonna keep it honest with you.
It's kind of crazy. It's like, you remember having an imaginary friend when you were younger. Most kids did.
No.
Imagine having.
No.
Well,
Yeah,
I said most. That's why I said most there. I necessarily didn't, but anyways.
If we're at 1 out of 3 having one, that is not most here.
Dude, I just pretended to be Goku as a kid, okay? I was running around pretending to shoot people and fucking throw Kamehamehas, okay? I didn't have an imaginary friend.
But think about having an imaginary friend that, having a child's imaginary friend as a full-fledged adult, making poor decisions, but also fucking people up at the same time. Like, I think spoiler alert, but I think in the first episode, he kills like 10 people, and this imaginary friend gets eaten by the fucking demonic Satan or demonic Santa guy.
Fuck?
Hey, it's some weird shit. If you're into some weird shit, get with it.
It sounds like the latter seasons of Supernatural.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't say I've seen that. Maybe we gotta throw that on the list.
It's like the episode where the teddy bear comes to life and he's fucking killing people.
Dude, yes. Which,
I mean,
yeah.
One time,
in
one of the episodes, the dad has to go to a strip club, but it's a Santa strip club, and all the strippers are in Santa costumes to get information about the Santa kidnapper. I'm just saying, it's a little weird.
All right. Well, I'll say what Reek said kind of leads into what I've been watching. So Netflix has finally released the 15th and, if I'm not mistaken, kind of last season of Supernatural. Honestly, gave up on it a long time ago, but I feel like it's kind of a have to watch now instead of a want to. First few seasons were really, really good. Probably one of my favorite shows, but now they've just it's just gone boring and hard to relate, or not relate, but hard to accept the main characters anymore after death and reoccurrence of each character 5+ times.
To put it in perspective, the only people here who've watched Supernatural are me and Eli, and so
Right.
that's 2 out of the 4. And we both started watching it at its peak, so around like, I don't know, like 7 years ago, when it was like super fucking good and it was popular everywhere. And it's just spiraled out of control ever since then.
It's very bad, and this season's not any better. It's interesting, but it's just not. Anyway, the concept for the people who don't know what it's about is these 2 brothers kind of fight demons or werewolves, vampires, whatever it may be, and they kind of just clear the world of like monsters and stuff. But ever since they've started, I don't know, implementing the devil and God and angels and stuff, it's just gotten kind of spiraled out of control and just not my thing anymore. But I'm very glad it's ending.
Can I take a wild stab at something?
What's up?
For sure.
Is it a CW show?
It is a CW show.
It's every model of fucking CW show, right?
Yeah, you ain't wrong. But yeah, no. Other than that, that's about it. I've been watching, and I'm only halfway through that season, so looking forward to the rest of it.
I can thoroughly recommend at least the first 5 seasons of Supernatural to anyone who's listening to this 100%. That hasn't seen them. It is legitimately fantastic TV with fantasy, and it's legitimately scary for the first 2 seasons. The rest is just decent story. Past season 5, you're gonna get hit or miss. They get into some really weird concepts with angels, demons, corporations. They try to do themes, but it's like baby's first theme, and they just beat into your head. They do like greed and lust and stuff, and they think they're doing it subtly, but it's completely obvious, like you wouldn't believe. There's nothing wrong with making it obvious, but 10 seasons of obvious themes is kind of annoying.
For sure. I was going to say the first 5 were really good. Up until season 10, maybe 11, it was okay. And since then, it's just been, like I said, just kind of the same thing over and over again.
Honestly, what's keeping that show together is the bond between Sam and Dean. And that's why the show was good at first, because you legitimately felt like they cared for each other. And if either one of them died, they would really be hurt by it. But after they came back 7 or 8 times, no one's fucking worried about either of them dying.
Right. Exactly. I'll see them next season. No worries. Yeah.
Resurrection, Andy.
Exactly. But Reek, what you been watching, man?
All right. So, as my friends here know, I am what they call an anime and cartoon nerd on top of the TV shows I watch. So, anything anime and cartoons usually have to go for me for. Tristan watches a little bit of cartoons, but I'm pretty much the only one that watches anime.
I have the extensive knowledge of Reek.
So, recently I've been watching 2 different series. I've started watching season 3 or part 3 of Baki 2018 on Netflix, which is a show about a boy who is the son of the strongest creature on Earth, Yujiro Hanma. And basically, his dad created him, so he fucked his mom and gave birth to Baki so that Baki could give him a fight when he gets old enough. Like, he's the only one that could like offer him a challenge as someone of his bloodline. Like, anyone else is not up to par with him, right? That's how strong he is.
Yeah.
So then that was the old story, and so then Baki grew through the old show that came around in the early 2000s. He turned into like a really serious fighter, and he got really strong. He tried to fight his dad once. His dad beat the fuck out of him and almost killed him. And he was like 14 at the time. Now Baki's like 19, like 18, 19. Like he's still at the end of his high school days. And he's a beast now, and he can fuck people up. And so this season was called the Grand Raitai Tournament. So basically, at the end of the last part, Baki got poisoned fighting this fucking guy in a martial art competition, and he got poisoned, and then he's fucked up from poison still. So, but there's a once every 100 years tournament going on right now, and he wants to fight in it, even though he's fucked up. So Baki goes to China to go fight in this once in 100 year tournaments, despite that, and it's pretty fucking cool. They have a fake Muhammad Ali Jr. in it. They call him Muhammad Ali Jr., not Ali. He's a fucking beast, and he's cool. The show's really good, but really dog shit at the same time. Like, the show's called Baki, but Baki's only in like 25% of the show at this point. It's pretty fucking stupid.
Oh, man.
And
what a tease.
He's cool, and he's really good and stuff, but Muhammad Ali Jr. took this season by storm. Fucking dope character. Muhammad Ali's cool. Imagine Muhammad Ali on crack. That's his son. He basically can fuck anyone up, super fucking fast. One taps bitches like they're nothing. It's awesome.
All right.
The show's really good. Very pretty. I would recommend it to anime watchers. If you've seen the original, if you haven't, don't bother with the new one because you won't know what the fuck's going on to be honest with you. So much he fought a fucking ogre. He fought a fucking big ass monkey and killed it in like the old series, and like it's just nuts. The show's fucking crazy, okay? And other than that, I've been watching Kaguya-sama Love is War, which is an anime about two high school students who are basically in love with each other, but they don't want to admit it to each other, and they're trying to convince the other person to like fall in love with them and like admit it to them, but they both like each other anyways. It's like elementary school shit, but in high school, and neither of them have dated anyone before, so if they get together, it'll be their first relationship, right? And it's just that. So I watched season 1, and season 2 is going on right now, and I'm watching that right now. That's extremely fucking funny show with like hilarious plot lines, and it has anime humor in it, so like really over the top fucking sexual shit sometimes, and then it has really tame shit sometimes. It's really funny and like cutesy. So like it has a little mix of both of that stuff. If you like romance stuff, it's pretty fucking good, to be honest with you. I recommend both seasons. It's probably one of the best animes out right now. But yeah, I've just been watching animes.
Okay.
Where can you find those?
Okay, so you can find Baki on Netflix. So the 2018 series has all 3 parts on Netflix. And Kaguya-sama Season 1 is on Crunchyroll, and Kaguya-sama Season 2 is on Funimation streaming platform, which is an anime company. Both those, Crunchyroll is for Japanese anime with like only subtitles. Funimation does dubs of animes and shit like that in English.
Oh, okay.
They're the people who did Dragon Ball Z.
Because every time you bring it up in the past and everything, I've been interested about that stuff. I haven't really gotten a chance to dive into it, but personally, like the fact that some of it's on Netflix, that'll be easier to dive into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Crunchyroll is free. It has commercials though. If you use the free version, premium doesn't have commercials. So for anyone who wants to watch anime, Crunchyroll is usually the way to go for the legal side. For the illegal side, you people already know where the fuck to go. You know what's up.
I was gonna say, I agree with Austin. Like, obviously, I grew up on cartoons, and like I like adult cartoons as far as like South Park and Family Guy goes. But like, I haven't seen too much as far as anime goes, and I feel like that's kind of along the lines of like an adult cartoon. So I should probably check that out instead of passing it off, I guess.
On this show, if I have my way, anime will probably come up sooner or later in this podcast, and we will watch it, and I'll get you guys' thoughts. For you guys, especially you two, because you two have never really watched an anime before, except for like, you know, I know Austin said he's seen some Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, but you guys have never like sat down and watched one to like start to finish before.
Nope.
I know Tristan said he dabbled. I heard him mention you like One Piece, Tristan.
Well, okay, so I haven't extensively watched One Piece, but what I've seen of One Piece, I do enjoy. But of course, I was like way younger, and so like I wasn't totally aware of like animes as what they are per se.
Yeah. One Piece actually just hit Netflix yesterday, or as of the recording. It came to Netflix, the first 130 episodes. Yeah, only the first 130, by the way, not the 900 episodes that exist in One Piece.
Oh my!
By the way, I'm caught up on One Piece.
Oh god!
Shoot! So I'd probably end up throwing One Piece in there, just like the first couple seasons, because it's really, really good. At one point,
dude, we got time to watch 900 episodes. Don't worry.
But it's not too bad when you think about it in like 26-minute episodes or 20-minute episodes versus hour long, right?
Yo, like, hold on. We'll do the math on 22-minute episodes real fast.
It's like 900, 500 hours.
I was gonna say you can catch us next year discussing that.
No, you can catch us 900. 10 years from now.
Boy.
Exactly.
Watch that.
It is 330 hours.
Oh man,
to be fair, I read the manga.
You could binge that if you watched every episode back to back 2 straight weeks.
Jesus Christ.
With no
without
sleep.
doing anything else.
To be fair, I read the manga after episode 400, so I was quicker than watching the episodes. But yeah, right. So I'm the anime manga boy. I will get you guys into an anime sooner or later. I'll find something.
I do have those 4 for you still, Reek, whenever I see you next.
Ooh, that's nice. All right, so now that we've done that, would anyone like to mention anything before we get into our review for this episode, for this podcast episode? Shooter Season 1.
A Footer.
Get on in the Bobby Lee swagger, brother. Let's get it.
All right, so I'll intro us real quick. Actually, you know what, Eli, this is your show. you intro us into your show, and you tell us
Will
what the
do.
fuck the shooter's about.
All right, so
Eli made the show.
I started watching this show probably about 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it came out on Netflix. I think it was 2016 or 17. I could be wrong. But I watched, I think they only had 1 or 2 seasons at the point of me watching it. So I watched both seasons back to back, and I really enjoyed it. First season that we're discussing, basically military vet sniper in the Marines. He got set up for I guess the shooting of the Ukrainian president, but they framed him for killing or aiming for the United States president. So it kind of just follows the story of who framed him, how he's going to escape the government, I guess, and how he's going to get his life back. Kind of is what the first season's kind of about.
Okay. Before we get into spoilers, for anyone who would want to watch this show, I can say it's pretty good. I'd recommend it. 7 out of 10. Everyone give their ratings and if you would recommend it before we get into the discussion with spoilers.
Oh, boys.
Hit him with it, T-Max.
I'll say go for it, man.
I mean, I would absolutely recommend it.
What would you
personally
give a rating?
Yeah, what's your rating before I hit mine?
7 out of 10 feels pretty good. You know, I don't think I go
8.
What was that? You broke
7
up?
out of 10.
7?
7 out of 10 feels pretty good. 6 feels definitely too low. But I'm unsure if it's deserving of an 8.
Okay.
Personally, for me, there's a lot of, I mean, not getting into it too deep, but there's a lot of things that kind of bugged me about it, but a lot of things that were great about it. So personally, I'll have to knock it down to a 6 out of 10, but I would still recommend it to most people, honestly. So that's my opinion.
I was going to say, the reason I recommended this show is not just for the first season, it's for the other 2, obviously, which we haven't got into. But me personally watching all the seasons is going to make it's a little bit biased for me, but based off the first season alone, I'd probably go with about a 7.5. And I'd absolutely recommend it, all 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, the show, I would recommend the show. It's legitimately pretty good at times, but it's pretty okay at times too. Like, depending on what episode you're on.
For sure.
I honestly, my opinion of what brings it down to a 7 is just like sometimes like some of the acting bothers me. I'm like, I don't feel like that was done the best. Not that it wasn't necessarily written well. I just feel like sometimes it's acted the best.
I do agree. Some acting from certain people in the show is pretty mediocre.
Yes.
And for me, it's more like the realism fact of it, but we'll get into it more obviously later on in the show. But for me, it's the realism.
Yes. So for anyone who hasn't watched it, is someone interested in watching The Shooter, season 1, or if you want to turn this off since you heard what we're watching this go around, and then come back to it after you watch Shooter, feel free. We'll be talking about spoilers now. If you don't give a fuck about The Shooter and you just want to hear us bullshit, stick around. We'll have some good time.
Bullshit is the best part.
Okay, let me get this jumping in real quick, right? With the spoiler section. The first episode was a little fucking rough. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Rough as in what?
It was like filled with cliches through the fucking roof. It was like, he's the top of his class Navy SEAL. He's a fucking
best
beast.
Sniper ever.
He's beast semper fi. Ooh wah. He came in just rolling deep. He was a beast.
No, I agree. Yes.
He lived on the campsite. Oh my god, the escalation in the first part of the first episode where the hunters are trying to kill that wolf in a bear trap, and he's like, "What you guys do? You guys can't do that." And they're like, "Shut the fuck up. We can do what we want." And then they're like,
"Bro,"
like,
and they were drunk hunters. Like I was just like, "Come on."
And
now.
no, he's
like, that's
"No,
such
you can't."
a bad.
And then he escalates it. He doesn't shoot one of them in the fucking foot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turns it into a gunfight with them.
It was with a trank. No, he tranked them both.
Yeah.
But
I just decided to trank him. He was like, he was like, "You guys are being stupid." Because I think you're being, not even that they were necessarily being stupid, they were fine, but he was like, "I don't like what you're doing. I'm gonna trank you one time."
And also, when he started talking about the ammo, he was like, "You could kill a fucking squirrel with this ammo right here, son."
Said, "What are you, a dentist?" Like, no, I'm an orthodontist.
It was a little ridiculous to start off.
I do have to say though, because most of the realism fact, like later on in the show, it's kind of hard to deal with, but in that fact, he was right in that fact. So that one he was right about, but still, I get what you're saying. It's a little over the top. just trying to prove that he knows everything. He's the best guy for the job that's going to be coming up. It's it's foreshadowing for what's going to happen. They're trying to just reassure you that he knows all of his shit basically, and it's a little too much.
I thought it was funny and I actually enjoyed it because of the humor part of it. Yeah, I don't think it was supposed to be taken. It wasn't supposed to be taken as humorous though, but I enjoyed it because of that.
The actor for Bob Lee Swagger is legitimately really good. I didn't know
him. I agree.
His name's Ryan Philippe, I think. He's super good actually. Like I really enjoyed him throughout the whole show. Any scene he was in was super fucking good. Like legitimately.
Okay, here's the thing. I feel like I was trying to tell for the entire first season if he had some sort of accent or not. Not gonna lie.
I think his accent was badass. That's it. Like it's not like a badass accent. I mean like what he was going for was I'm a badass Marine.
No, I know that, but like I was trying to figure out what his accent was for like the entire first season.
It's I guess they're in the Pacific. For people who don't know, we are located in the Pacific Northwest. We're in this area, the Washington, Oregon, Idaho area.
Yes, sir.
No one fucking sounds like him.
No,
I don't know anyone that sounds like Bob Lee Swagger.
Wasn't he supposed to be like born there too, or something? Did he grow up there? Or something?
Yeah, he was born in Seattle. Like
I believe it's based in Seattle. Yeah,
it's based in Seattle, but I wasn't sure he was born there.
It's based outside. Yeah.
Yeah, some parts were Tacoma.
Well, no, he lives in.
No, the whole show took place in Washington because if you heard them talk,
100%.
They said the FBI. It's the FBI Seattle office.
Right. That okay. I mean, there's a couple parts that don't technically take place in Washington, but I know what you're saying.
They're not filmed here. They take.
No. I mean, but like, there's a couple parts of the show
where
like it's set somewhere else. No, not even just the flashback. Like he goes to like.
You're talking about later when he goes to Idaho and Virginia. Obviously.
Yeah, like he goes to.
We're talking about the main part of the show, though. The main part of the show
is
I know what
you're saying.
Surrounded around Seattle, but I feel like like when we're getting into it, like where it was in that first scene, when we were talking about him hunting and everything. I assume he's probably more in the Olympic Peninsula, honestly, and then he has to make a short trip.
He was up there instead of more towards like Mount Baker.
I think he's more on the Olympic Peninsula because the Olympic Peninsula is very trees and everything like that.
That would make a lot of sense.
And then everything outside of Seattle is more plateau-ish. So I assume he's in the Olympic Peninsula, and he lives on where his house is. He lives in some sort of bay, so that would reassure the Olympic Peninsula. And then he has to make short trips to Seattle. So that's when we're talking about most of the encounters and everything he has. A lot of it's in Seattle because that's close to him, but he lives in a remote, secluded location because that's where he finds comfort. Personally, his character does.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Honestly, I wrote down in my notes. I took some notes. Nothing's like too plot specific or anything. I said Bob Lee Swagger feels like what they tried to make Hawkeye feel like. Like legitimately. Yeah. Like he doesn't have superpowers or anything. He's just a fucking badass who can snipe people. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. A Hawkeye character was definitely a bit different.
Yeah, dog shit.
Yeah, he was lame.
Next time on fucking Binge Bros, we are flaming Marvel and all that. Let's get it.
That actor, feel free to come onto the podcast. By the way, we don't hate you.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I love Jeremy Renner.
I just feel like the writing team fucked him.
I would say, like the writing team for Shooter, if they did anything right, it was making that Ryan Philippe a good character, especially naming him Bob Lee Swagger.
Bob Lee
Swagger,
but like
Pacific Northwest though.
Yeah, exactly. Especially being from the Pacific Northwest, they made him such a likable character for me. Like Enrique said, like Enrique said, like any scene he was in was good because like I don't know, if the show was as much based around him as I wish it was, it'd be closer to a 9 out of 10.
Oh, absolutely. Legitimately, it would be probably 9 out of 10 show.
Yeah. It would definitely be better if it was more focused on his upbringing, what he really went through to become who he is.
No, I wish we had more information on the like the background stuff.
All the flashbacks were sick as fuck.
Oh hell! When he was overseas, they were honestly probably my favorite part of most of those episodes.
Yeah. Quick shout out, R.I.P. Donnie. Like, man,
Donnie got wrecked. Donnie got Call of Duty quickscoped, bro. Like,
dude, he really did.
I can't even argue.
Like, goddamn, he was a cool character though. I gotta admit, he didn't show up very much, but the camaraderie between the soldiers was really cool.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That was honestly one of my favorite parts about it because that camaraderie between the soldiers, and you saw it when Bob Lee Swagger went to Donnie's mom for basically for help when he had no one else to go to. It shows it shows you like that camaraderie they have overseas, because they're risking their life with them every single time, and that's why also Bob Lee Swaggart like just fell into the trap basically that they put him in, because that's his brother that he went through war with. Like most people can't experience that, and I know none of us have been through anything like that, but I can see that in the sense that if your brother comes to you and says, "Hey, I need this," you're gonna believe him, which is why it kind of upset me, because he kind of fell into a trap. Even he's supposed to being able to fund those traps, but it's understandable in that fact because of his relationship with the captain at that point. That they're brothers, they went into war together, so that means a lot more than it does to most people.
They do a really good job of giving that off on the show, to be honest.
Yes,
you feel like all those characters
that,
care about each other, and you feel like Bob Lee legitimately felt betrayed by what's his face, Isaac Jones. Played by my boy Omar Epps from House.
Okay, that is Omar Epps. I wasn't 100% sure.
That was Omar Epps.
Omar Epps, yeah.
So yeah, the first episode ends on a cliffhanger, with Bob Lee fucking getting framed for shooting the U.S. president, and then he goes on the run after that. The first episode was a little rough at times, but the entire second half, where he's doing like the montage of scouting out where the sniper could shoot from, is really fucking
that was
good.
so dope, dude.
That was it's such a cool like thing they did with that
concept, with just everything appearing like that. Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that as well.
If someone paid attention to most of the actual data that was on the screen, most of the data that was on the screen was actually realistic in the sense that a sniper would actually be taking those
kinds of those kinds of notes, 100%.
Which was awesome. All the notes and everything, that's awesome. That's that was one of the parts. I feel like personally with me, why I rated it as 6, because some of the times they hit it spot on with some of the realism things about that, because they like a sniper would really be looking at all that shit, but other time it'd be like, and maybe it showed up later in the show, but it would be like, is it really? I don't know, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, and if you're thinking about a 1 to 10 rating, a 5 is average, so we're not calling it bad when we say 6.
No, that's exactly why I say 6. I mean, you can.
Right.
Personally, I feel like most people when they do a 1 to 10 rating, it's like 3 is at. I mean, 3 is like decent. Like people don't want to be mean. Honestly, people don't want to be mean. Anything under 5 isn't great. So above a 6 is above average. To me, 5 is average. So, and that's personally how I rate my stuff. So 5 is average. Is 6. I feel like it's slightly above average, But if you really know what you're talking about and know what they're talking about, it'll knock you down a little. Which is why all y'all are about a 7, 7.5, and I'm a 6.
Yeah, man. I feel like this show, it doesn't change a lot, to be honest. It's not like a groundbreaking show in like the execution. It's nothing new, right? But it does it very well what it does. Like all the shooting, all the military stuff, it does it pretty good, to be honest. It does it fun. Where like I enjoy watching it, and it's not too serious. I got a good laugh out of most episodes, to be honest.
Yeah.
It felt like the Avengers in that sense in Marvel, where it's serious action, but it's also a lot of comedy going on at the same time, where it's very enjoyable. Yeah,
100%.
I can see that.
And so the whole second episode of the series is our season, going to prison for that and trying to protect his family so they don't get fucked up by whoever's trying to frame him. Every show has a fucking prison arc in it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Every TV show has a prison arc. One of our shows that I have on the list right now has a prison arc in it, right? Like every TV show I've ever seen has a prison arc. Supernatural, we were talking about earlier, has a prison arc. I was talking about One Piece, prison arc. I was talking about Baki, prison arc. Every fucking show has a prison arc.
100%.
And it's pretty good. So I wrote down something from the second episode, right? If you're paying attention when Dr. Isaac Johnson, or I don't know what his fucking title was, Sergeant or whatever the fuck.
It was Captain.
Captain.
Yeah, Captain.
He had his phone upside down when he was talking to someone. So if you look at the OtterBox, he had an OtterBox, right? The OtterBox logo was upside down and next to his ear instead of on the bottom of his phone. So the phone was upside down that episode. And it was very hilarious to watch as he's talking to the fucking headphone part of his phone. He's like, yeah, man, I'll kill you, bitch. He's talking to he can't hear you, Isaac. He can't hear you.
I didn't see that.
We know plenty well that they're never ever talking to the phone for real with someone.
Well, yeah, duh. I'm just, but it's about.
I mean, that'd be better.
You can
It's
do
a
a
realism
fucking
factor.
continuity check though. Like, come
True.
on.
Yeah.
I have lists and lists and lists of things that they fucked up continuity wise. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like little mistakes that no one picked up and no one retook or
Right.
reshot.
And that's what's crazy is that we as just like regular young adults that just watch TV shows are picking these things up, and editors that get paid for this aren't.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well,
it's just simple stuff. You know,
maybe it's the fact that they got a lot more on their plate. But like talking about that, I saw a lot of times where there should have been safety finger check, and talk about gun safety in this sense that your finger shouldn't be on the trigger all the time. And there's plenty
Trigger
of times
awareness was
where
poor
their trigger
in a lot
awareness
of
was
parts.
the shittest. That was another thing. Like I personally didn't see the OtterBox part that Enrique is talking about, but like this trigger awareness, and that's the little
Trigger
shit that
awareness
made it
was
bring it down. Trigger awareness was terrible.
horrible.
I'm like, oh, you're just gonna point your muzzle right at your fucking buddy and not realize that, hey, maybe your finger can slip and kill him right then and there, but you don't give a shit.
They really didn't. I was like, dude.
You can tell some of them had never shot an actual gun, and it's kind of bad. But at the same time, you know, there were so many other great things in the show, which is, you know, it kind of balances out. But I don't know, it's kind of frustrating that they missed some of the little things like that.
Yeah. So if you want to go back to Enrique's continuity corner, before we started this episode, I did talk with Eli about one of the things I saw. So in the prison, one of the correction officers is playing a game at night, and the other officer's like, "What are you doing there? You playing a video game?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "You want to play some video games?" He's like, "No, man, those things are too realistic." He was playing on a 3DS.
He was.
He was playing a 3DS.
Okay. Talking about that. So the guy that said, "Oh no, those are too realistic," I think so. Obviously, if you looked in the episode, he was obviously in collusion trying to get Bob Lee Swagger dead. So I think honestly at that point he was just trying to shut down the conversation. So that's what I see when I saw that. I felt like he was just trying to shut down the conversation and not trying to keep dragging it along, because he was obviously trying to bring the other inmate in there to go fuck up Bob Lee Swagger.
Okay, I'd give you that right, but on the other hand,
it's a 3DS.
Said this is too realistic on a 3DS.
Bro, Mario Kart's too real for me, man.
That's what I was saying. That's what I wrote down here. I said, "What do you think Mario's real? Like the fucking plumber cartoon running around the screen? That's too realistic for you. There's no realistic game on the 3DS. What, Pokemon? You think Pokemon's realistic? Come on, Onyx? Dude. You're like, Onyx is too realistic, bro. He scares the fuck out of me."
I'm telling you, I hate when I'm just rolling around the prison in my freaking Mario Kart, and I get hit with a red shell from Pikachu behind me. Well, I'm trying.
Bro,
honestly, man, shells have started to become a much bigger problem in my life. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I just was waiting for
throwing those things around willy nilly.
I was waiting for Bob Lee to challenge him to Mario Kart for his freedom. He's like, "Oh yeah," he pulls out. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh. He pulls out his dual disc, you know, but he pulls out a 3DS out of his back pocket. He's like, "Let's do this shit, motherfucker!" And they
bro, he didn't have to.
Can you do this on concrete?
Dude, he didn't have to pull out a 3DS for that. If it's realistic, man, he's just doing that straight up in the cell.
He could have just had a PSP. He could have had his phone, but they went with a 3DS for some reason.
Yeah, I don't understand that one either. I didn't catch up on that.
Like, come on.
I don't understand. But that whole prison thing was pretty cool. Bob Lee hanging out with the Russian guy who was getting him the Russian guy.
I got a question about the Russian guy.
Yo, what's up?
When they first met, obviously Bob Lee Swagger was getting fucked up. The Russian guy stood up for him, told the other dude to fuck off. And Bob Lee Swagger was like, "All right," but he was like, "Hey, I didn't actually try and kill him, and I didn't even take the shot." At that point, if I was the Russian guy, I'd be like, "Well, fuck you then." Like, so,
right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that whole relationship kind of confused me, and the whole Russian relationship kind of confused me for that fact, because it was like Bob Lee Swagger literally admitted to every single Russian that he talked to. He's like, "Hey, I didn't do it, and I promise you, I didn't do it." And
they don't have to believe him.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
it could just be criminal mentality.
Exactly.
I don't know. It'd be expending less of their expenses if they just be like, "Oh, he said he didn't do it. Okay, I don't give a fuck about him." You know what I'm saying, though?
Okay, my thing is if you watch like other shows with that type of shit, it like if you watch like Prison Break or something. In Prison Break, they never directly admit what crime they did. They always say like allegedly or I got charged for or things like that. So Bob Lee saying I did not do it does not necessarily mean to that guy that he didn't do it. He's like, "Oh, you just don't want to admit to doing it because they don't have anything on you." That's how I see him taking.
You're right.
his.
You're right. You're right. I can see we're so invested in that character that we obviously know that Bob Lee Swagger didn't do it. So I can kind of see that. It's kind of biased in our sense. I can see that.
Right. If you've ever seen like Shawshank Redemption, like the movie, like as soon as somebody comes into the prison, they're like, "Oh, what'd you do?" And they're like, "Nothing. I'm innocent." You know, everyone's innocent.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just a criminal. Like Enrique said, it's a criminal mentality where everybody's innocent. Everybody's allegedly done something, and he could have been just saving his own back because his trial was set for a later date or whatever. He was just supposed to be held in like a cell, not an actual prison block.
Yeah. So then, episode 2, he ends up getting out of custody. Episode 3.
I mean, are we just gonna ignore how he did that?
I was gonna say that was pretty dope.
One of the baddest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was some pretty cool shit. I'm not gonna lie.
Where he fought the first dude, kicked his ass. The big dude was gonna rape his butt. He beat the dude who was gonna rape his butt, who wanted to rape his butt when he first got there. He beat that dude to fucking shit. Then he fought this guard next, cut that motherfucker's finger off, and said, "Give me that shit, boy." Took that. Dressed up as the guard, scanned the dude, used the dude's finger to scan himself out, hid under one of the delivery trucks, and then dipped out.
I do gotta say, honestly, this show wasn't the favorite for me personally. It was like mediocre in my opinion, but the action scenes in it were very good. I can say like, I was personally impressed with like some of the action scenes in like say the Punisher, and this I'd say would have had better action scenes than most of the Punisher scenes, and that's a big thing.
That's blasphemous. As someone who's I haven't seen Punisher, I've seen Daredevil. I wouldn't consider this show to have on par action scenes with Daredevil or Punisher, only because the gore effects, you could tell they were toning shit down so that they could be on USA Network. I feel like if you gave the show an R rating, you would get a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Okay, also, it was weird that they bleeped out all
that's exactly what I was going to say.
I was like, wait a second. Like, but if they were in there, that means they were probably there on USA Network.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the first time I watched that show, it wasn't bleeped, like the F words and stuff. Like, you know, who ain't gonna say fuck and stuff, you know? So it's like, they just like, I don't know. I guess they kind of dumbed it down, not dumbed it down, but like rated it down. So it was like PG-13 or whatever, TV-14. So I don't know.
I can say that the actual physical action scenes and combat scenes were very good in comparison to some of the others of other shows.
Yeah, I agree with Austin.
It was good. I would say that it was good. I just think the gore took me out of half the fight scenes because people were getting sniped with no obvious bullet holes being shown, or there was no blood, or there was just little to no blood, and shit like that was kind of annoying for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll just agree to disagree. I like the fight scenes, honestly. I thought they were pretty good.
In comparison to most popular TV shows, I feel like the fight scenes were better. And I feel like if you get caught up on the gore, I can completely agree with you, Enrique, that the probably wasn't enough like it should have been. I can 100% agree with you. But I feel like in comparison, the fight scenes themselves, because we're not in it for the gore, we're in it for the fight scenes, honestly.
No.
The fight scenes, no?
I wasn't in it for the fight scenes.
No. Although, if we're going to talk about anything to be disappointed in, I was disappointed in the lack of actual, like, shooting stuff in a show called Shooter.
Right.
I wanted to see more Bob Lee Swagger doing his Bob Lee Swagger thing.
Right.
There wasn't enough of it.
That's very true. There wasn't enough of Bob Lee Swagger shooting bitches in the face. I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah,
there was too, in my opinion, there was too much close combat. Then there was long distance because this whole thing is that he's a
sniper.
He's a sniper, yeah.
Right.
So
I enjoyed most of the long range stuff.
Instead, he was just beating everybody.
I enjoyed all the long range stuff, but when it was too much close range stuff, I was like, he's a sniper, so put him in the long range, make it happen.
Right.
Like I 100% agree with you in that fact.
Yeah.
And
that was the number one.
Which I'm not saying that snipers can't do close range stuff, but you know, I'm saying that's what he was portrayed as, and that's what they pushed. So make that the primary focus.
Yeah,
100%.
I also feel like this show suffered from bad guy syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Where like the first eight 8 episodes of the season, there's not really a good bad guy. You have Meacham and the Officer Payne, and those two are pretty much the bad guys.
The fact that Meacham's the main bad guy in the first 8 episodes kind of ass. Like, just being
yeah.
straight up.
Well, hold on.
Meacham is not a great bad guy.
What about? I mean, because Isaac is a bad guy.
He fucking sucks.
He is, but I don't know. He's kind of flip flop.
He's not good as a bad guy. Like, he wasn't a good bad guy.
Yeah,
but I think I mean, obviously, his role wasn't necessarily to be like the bad guy. I guess his role was a lot different, and I thought he did okay with that.
I don't know. Yeah, like having Meacham as the highest up, I guess, of the villains.
No, that was stupid.
He had to be one of the worst like bad guys in any show I've ever seen.
Yeah, all you ever saw him do was eating or drinking and fucking telling people to do shit. Like,
bro, he was just a stupid fat guy. Like, if we're gonna be real, he's just a drunk fat guy.
You gotta have
for the CIA.
You gotta have some sort of credibility behind you. Like, Isaac had the credibility that he was a captain and he's been through the shit to be that.
Yeah.
Meacham, we don't know what the fuck happened to me. We don't know what the fuck Meacham had to go through. All we know is he showed up on the army base one day, told everyone to fuck off and listen to him, and and he's just a fat guy who acts like he knew everything.
Does anyone remember what happened in episode 3? Because I don't.
I do. I'm looking at the Netflix.
I gotta double check which one episode 3 is real fast.
So this is the one where the other cop took credit for the shooting or like the stopping of Bob Lee.
Oh my gosh!
So that's the one
that
where
dude
she
pissed me
off
so
that's the one. I mean, where the dude with the huge ego is telling Nadine, who, not really a huge fan of her.
Payne should have killed him so much earlier, which we haven't really talked about Payne. So let's go around the room and get our initial impressions on Payne.
Dog shit.
So stupid. Honestly,
such a stupid character. Like, he was pointless.
Yeah,
so bad. Like, he was up there with Meacham, top 5 worst villains.
I would say personally top 3 worst characters would go from Meacham to Payne, and then it would be Nadine. Personally.
Let me get it first. Let me jump in next. Right. Top 3 worst characters. Meacham number 1. You know why? Because he fucking sucked. I didn't believe he was dangerous.
Yeah, he was just bad.
I believe anyone could shove a foot up his ass at any point they felt like it.
I guarantee you, me and Enrique are about to have the same list.
All right,
he could have He could have been a guy off the street. No one would have fucking knew.
Exactly. Yeah. Number 2, Jack Payne. Smelled like dog shit. Looked like dog shit. The actor tried his best. I can't hate on the actor. He really tried his best to play a cocky asshole. But they
wrote him so bad.
It wasn't written like a cocky asshole. That dude was just dog shit and no fun to watch. Neither of these guys, I wanted to see them get taken down. I just wanted them off of my TV. Like, I didn't care. Like, I wasn't invested in them. Right? Yep. Number 3, worst character in the show is Bob Lee Swagger's fucking daughter. Holy shit.
She's annoying as hell.
She is genuinely one of the worst child actors I've ever seen. And I'm sorry, little girl, but that's not your fault. Your parents probably wanted to cut a check off of you, so they threw you into these fucking USA TV producers to go have you act in the show. It's not your fault. It's really not. Her lines were not good. Her acting was not good. Her character design was dog shit. I couldn't tell if she was 12 or 4.
Dude, what kind of fucking nickname is Kitten Mouse, bro?
One of those ones that someone who doesn't have a child makes up.
Oh,
I know. 100%. I'm never gonna call my daughter Kitten Mouse. God damn.
Yeah, no, it's
dumbass before I call you Kitten Mouse.
It's 100% because you have more than 2 IQ.
Exactly. Oh my god.
Right, he's got 3.
Exactly.
Those are my top 3 worst characters. You guys can say your top 3 worst, but those are mine.
I was gonna say I those are my top 3 worst, but I am gonna reverse because he seems like a genuine dude and like he just got a bad role. I put Jack Payne at 3 and his daughter at 2 because I hated her, dude. She was such a shitty actress, dude.
No, okay. I would have to say, I'm gonna take his daughter off the list for me.
Are you sure? You're gonna put it at number 1, right?
So my first 2 are the same with Meacham and Jack Payne. Number 3 is the stupid brother-in-law.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I completely just wrote him off because I don't want to think about
this guy.
Dude, I forgot about that guy. Oh, dude, what a d-bag.
Going into him, you know what honestly pissed me off? And like the character development went from 0 to 100 real quick. Tell me how the wife can be scared completely in all these like getting hostage situations, but then all of a sudden she's threatening to kill this dude because he's threatening Bobbly Swaggart's like.
That's her husband. That's her honey.
Yeah, but that don't mean she can fucking go from 0 to 100. Like, oh,
No,
I'm an innocent
because he's an
wife,
average
but
Joe.
then I go fuck. Oh,
right. The rest of the people
that pissed me off.
The rest of the people fucking with her were like military officers or Russians and shit like that. This dude's name was fucking Philip B. Bitch Boy, and he was out here fucking trying to like. He was trying to snitch.
He wanted to be a bitch.
Yeah, but you can't tell me that her going from always pulling the innocent wife role to automatically being like, oh,
she's been pretty. To be fair, she's been consistent. Whenever she's talking to a normal citizen, she's a beast. Whenever the fucking reporters came to her, she told them to fuck off. When the dude tried to sell the book to her, she should suck my dick. Like, she's been consistent with normal people, like telling them to fuck off. It's when you start killing military grade people, she knows better because Bob has explained it to her.
I agree with him. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she kind of pulled this innocent. I mean, obviously the first or second episode, she was like, "Oh, I know you didn't miss the wolf or whatever it was because Bob Lee Swagger doesn't miss."
Exactly.
But at the same time, then she always pulls an innocent role, which I mean, maybe it's because she knows her place and knows because of Bob Lee's. I don't know.
Well, there's that, and there's also that she knows that he's alive still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that she that's the first. I feel like that. I may be incorrect, but I feel like that was the first time we really saw her go full, I'll just say it, savage mode, basically. When she was like, I'm going to kill this dude because he's threatening. And I understand that because of her connection with her daughter. And that's really what it's threatening. But just going from the innocent wife to fucking I'm going to kill you it was kind of a big jump for me. And I can kind of understand it based on what you guys are saying. But it was still kind of a big jump. And I would,
She had done that before, though. I don't know if you remember when Nadine came to the house and she had the file on Jack Payne. She took the file and ran outside to reporters. Was like, this is what the FBI has been investigating. Blah 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 blah. She told that shit. So she's gone.
I thought that was after that. I thought that was
before.
That was much before.
Was it before?
Okay. Way before. Okay. So she's done because the brother-in-law wasn't until much later in the season, like the very end.
Step bro.
Yeah, I think it was
bro. Wow.
I think it was. I want to say it was like episode 7 where she threatened him.
Pornhub,
it was pretty late. It was pretty late.
We will take a sponsorship, Pornhub, please. We will take whatever we can get.
We will take any sponsorship we can get. Anyway, going
after hours.
Okay. Anyway, going off of what Tristan said about her knowing that Bob Lee was already still alive. So basically, in the following episodes after episode 2, 3, whatever it was, he faked his own death, which in my opinion was a dope scene, and how he did that was pretty cool. Like getting the titanium hip and like getting the serial number. And stuff
that was nuts.
Like that was pretty cool.
That was good.
Okay,
I
real fast. Evolving that part. You guys know who Eddie George is?
No.
Eddie George, the football player.
Crickets.
Yeah. So he's the dude. He's the dude who played the guy that was with him overseas. So he was a running back on the Titans team that went to the Super Bowl in like 2000. So I mean, I think it's interesting that he's acting now. I thought he did an okay job. It's not like he had a big role or anything. But
in the show, he looked
huge.
Gigantic.
He looked what?
He just looked gigantic. His arms looked like 4 times Bob Lee Swagger's forehead. Like it was just gigantic.
Yeah. He's a big dude, but this must clearly shows that Philippe or Philip is not necessarily like a big dude per se.
Oh no, I doubt it.
He's a sniper. He's not.
He looks like he looks like fucking Canelo.
You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar out there sniping all of a sudden.
Bro, like I don't know if you guys know who Canelo Alvarez is, but he looks exactly like Canelo, the boxer.
Yep.
He looks like pound for pound. They could be brothers or something, which is nuts to me. Like all I could picture is Canelo just going in there and boxing. Yeah, he's Mexican, but he looks white as shit.
Very interesting.
Like Canelo looks white if you didn't know any better. But it's just I thought that was funny. But
yeah.
So after episode 3, which was the one where it was basically a Nadine episode. Episode 3
Yeah,
was
trash.
Stupid.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about Nadine.
I don't like her at all. Which
that's what I was gonna say. Speaking of Nadine,
I don't dislike
everyone.
her.
I was gonna say, speaking of Nadine, everyone give your input on Nadine. Obviously,
what I was gonna say. So in the first season, I didn't like that they kept referencing how she killed a hostage, and they never did a flashback when she killed the hostage.
Exactly. I didn't know what that was about. Every time they talked about it, I was like, I don't care. Why should I care?
Right, and I feel like
we have no context on that situation at all.
I feel like if that's going to be a huge talking point and like all about her character, we need to see a flashback of when that happened. And I think we got a little glimpse of it, but we didn't get the whole.
Surely we're going to eventually.
As Paul Pierce once said, "I want the whole load."
Pause.
Yee, brother, I want the whole fucking load.
Pause, Pierce.
I just
we just getting a little taste.
I just don't. The Dean's okay, right? I'll give her that. She wasn't Jack Payne or Meacham, where I like didn't want them on my screen. I just thought they didn't do her any justice because her character was boring. She's just, I'm a Miss Detective. She was basically like Bob Lee's sidekick, but she wasn't fun.
Yes, exactly.
It's like
I know, but it was in a different way.
Because I put her in my top 3 least favorite, and basically I put her in there because of later in the season where automatically look. She knows how to fucking shoot. No, these fucking snipers go to sniper school for fucking 4 months or something stupid like that, and she can figure out how to shoot and take people down in tense situations automatically. That pissed me off, which is one of the reasons why I put her in that top 3.
Her sniper was trash, though.
Didn't she miss a couple times?
Yeah.
Yes, plenty of times, but she did a lot better than most people should.
100%. But
she was able to adjust in like 3 or 4 shots.
I was gonna say, one, she's in the FBI. 2, she's been learning with Bob Lee. Like, you gotta I don't know. They're out in the middle
for like 1 or 2 days, though. Okay, like I don't know. At least that's what they showed us. Which you can't ask a TV show to show us everything, but still, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
For her to go from just using a handgun because training with a handgun to automatically being like, look, she can fucking shoot 1,500 to 1,000 yard shots. Like, that's fucking insane. That's one of the things that always pissed me off about the show.
This is why I've been saying to you guys whenever we talk about it that Shooter is an anime. It's not realistic, really. It is very ridiculous in the way. It's almost shonen-esque, which means, like, Bob Lee is such an OP fucking main character that no situation you put him in is he gonna fucking lose. He's gonna win. He could have 27 motherfuckers surrounding him. He will win. The only reason the cops took him in, I believe, is because he turned himself in. If he really wanted to, he could have got the fuck out of there and kicked Nadine's ass and said, fuck you, I'm gone. Like,
100% true.
Like, legitimately.
Because you remember, they described the situation. They were describing the situation at one point. Like, he was surrounded by like 240 Taliban members, and he fought them for 48 hours, and 62 of them. I was like,
I know.
Whoa, like,
I know what you guys are saying.
That's his job. Like, he has those kinds of capabilities. Like, I don't think they were going to be hunting him for that long.
But I know what you're saying, but I feel like the Bob Lee Swagger character is based obviously. Like, if anyone knows anything about the U.S. military or anything like that, the Bob Lee Swagger character is based off of Chris Kyle, the OG American Sniper.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No,
it's the same kind of thing.
They would get
and Chris Kyle actually did
shit.
Some of that shit. So
I know, but they already had American Sniper. They would get fucking sued through the ass for that. Like,
for sure.
It's like it's like that if you were to turn it into a fucking ridiculous fantasy show. Like, none of the shit he does is super realistic. He is a superhero. He is an anime character. Bob Lee will not lose no matter the situation you put him in. He will fuck you up no matter what. And that's really cool, but I never feel like Bob Lee's in danger. The only people that felt in danger was Bob Lee's family, his wife, and his kids. And that's the only way you could affect him. When he was by himself, he didn't give a fuck. He was fucking people up 1-on-1, 1-on-2,
he really
10-on-1. When fucking Randy Orton showed up later in the season,
he had 3, 4, 5 of them things, and he was just bow bow.
When Randy Orton showed up in the season, he didn't give a fuck about Randy Orton. He went to that motherfucker's camp. It was like, I don't give a fuck about you, your little brother over there, Kyle.
That's what I was gonna say.
Fuck Kyle.
That's what I was gonna say. Speaking of Randy Orton, because I feel like that was probably the next episode that showed up when he got sent to them after he found the bullet.
It was.
So how do y'all feel about that whole scene? Like, how do y'all feel about that whole scenario of him with the Liberty and everything? How do y'all feel about that?
I was really scared for a second.
I don't know how I felt You're scared for who?
I was scared for the direction the show was going because I really feel like they're about to tell us that a militia is okay and they should be a thing that people should do. And I was really scared that they were going into some really crazy fucking like conservatism stuff. And I was like, holy shit, they were scaring me for a second. But then they pulled it back with Bob Lee destroying the fucking militia, which is cool.
Yeah, like Reek said, like I was also the first time I watched it, I was very into the, like scared about that too. I was like, yeah, this is not going in a good direction. Like the whole anti-government thing is probably not a good message.
On the USA Network, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, it's the USA Network.
Yeah, but yeah, they reversed it, and he tried to take him down safely and like kind of get everybody safely out of there, but also turn them in. So,
but I wish he would have just blown the roof off the whole place.
Yeah.
My question is, so obviously what happened in that scene, he went in a sniper off with the head honcho,
Randall
Keith, boy Randy,
with Randy Orton,
Yes, Randall Keith.
And obviously he was trying to miss because they were sniping at Isaac. Isaac was trying to just pick off Bob Lee Swaggart, and at that point, obviously Randy Orton missed a couple times. Bob Lee Swaggart tried to miss, and then obviously shit went down to where he called in. What was it?
SWAT.
Was it the DE? Was it the DE?
Oh,
it was
no. It
was. Was it? It wasn't Homeland.
AIF? Was it AIF or something?
I don't know, but
I feel like it was Homeland, but I could be wrong.
I don't know if it was Homeland, but anyways, he called them in.
He called in Rainbow Six Siege.
Exactly. I mean, we don't need to be precise about it. Y'all figure it out. It was some internal USA subsidiary, but basically, and then when he was doing that, I was just like, are they really just gonna all dispatch and then the head honcho is gonna stay there while they're getting fucking sieged on, and then they're gonna have a 1v1, and then we never found out about that. But how is Bob Lee Swagger gonna convince the brother of the head honcho to be like, hey man, just run away and trust me that your brother said
I know, right?
here.
Just
how is it to be like, trust me? Your brother said you know where to meet him. Just run away. It's okay. And he's trying to save that guy. But that guy the whole time was trying to kill Bob Lee Swagger. I mean, obviously it's trying to be a character development thing that Bob Lee Swagger believes that no one is really too far gone, because that's obviously what that's meaning. But it's at the same time, it's like, really, that's a little far-fetched, and that's probably the most dramatic thing that you could have done to prove that character point about Bob Lee Swagger.
Honestly, with the way they kicked the shit out of that kid Joey, like his little brother, I honestly wouldn't be surprised with that. Because, like, honestly, the entire fucking time he was ever characterized with Randall Keith, like, Randall Keith was just yelling the fuck at him. He was like, bitch, you fucking suck. You should kill yourself. Stay on computers, you fucking nerd. You fucking geek. You fucking ugly bitch. You can practice all you want. You still won't be as good as me, bitch. I'm a fucking, what was he? He was in the Navy, I think, right? Because Bobby was
Randy, he was in the Navy. He was talking shit about the Navy, and that's a normal thing that it mainly goes.
And it wasn't the Air Force.
That's what I'm saying. Mainly, like, when you're talking about the hierarchy of the armed forces of the USA, it mainly goes Marines are allegedly the top, but everyone calls the Marines just fucking jarheads, and then it goes Marines, Army, Navy, then Air Force, because the Air Force is allegedly the joke, and then Navy's the second. So that's the hierarchy that they're getting at. And
the words of Austin Carter do not disclose the words of the Binge Boys podcast. We do not necessarily endorse what he's saying. We respect our troops, and we do not care. Thank you.
I'm just saying. I also listen to podcasts. I also listen to podcasts, and that's the general.
Austin Carter does not represent the entirety of the Binge Boys.
Okay, I'll just stop talking then. All right.
We respect all military officials.
I respect all military officials too. I'm just saying, within the military community, that's the hierarchy that they think.
Yeah.
Hoorah! Semper Fi. Semper Fi, brother.
Anyway, yeah, we're just going on with that. Yeah. So anyway, for Randy Keith to be talking all that shit to Joey, he was a dog shit sniper.
He was.
I know.
He sucked. He sucked,
dude. He had vision problems, or what was it about?
He said 800 yards, and Bob Lee said, a mile.
That's double, right? That's 1,600 yards or something? How much is a mile in yards? Like 1,600? Am I retarded or something? Hello?
I'll take your word for it. I'm sure y'all looking it up right now. Yeah,
I'm looking it up right now.
Greek die.
1760 is 1 mile.
1760. All right.
1760.
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's a long
over
shot.
double. Over double what Randy Orton wanted to do to begin with.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
so it's not necessarily that he was that bad. That's just a
Yeah.
tough shot. I mean, a
Yeah,
mile is not
100%.
an easy shot.
But he was
No.
giving Bob Lee shit for missing it, and he had those
Yeah.
super duper bullets too.
Yeah,
That's
he also had the good
because he
bullet.
didn't
also
know
had the
that
good
Bob Lee
bullets.
was trying to miss. He just thought that Bob Lee was just shooting himself.
He was trying to pump himself up higher than Bob Lee. He's like, "Oh, I'm better than Bob Lee because I'm closer than he was." But Bob Lee was obviously trying to miss. So it's just character development at that point.
So, moving on from that, the next episode was probably one of my favorites.
Top 3 episode in the show.
Top what?
Top 3 episode in the show.
Oh, for sure.
So far.
When he had his mentor or whatever you want to call it.
100%. Yes.
That
one was good.
100%.
That had to be one of my favorite episodes. I like how it started like in like an action scene, and then it kind of took us back like one day earlier or whatever it was. And I kind of like how it started like that. Because I kind of like that idea of like, oh, how did this character get here? You know, why are there people chasing him? But I don't know. I just really, really like that actor that played the older mentor dude. I liked him in Prison Break, The Longest Yard, whatever else he was in. But I really like that actor.
Hey, he's got a 5-inch dick and he ain't bragging about it.
Exactly.
Very true.
And that quote from him when they're doing their snipe off,
legendary.
When he's spreading Bob Lee's legs apart.
He's spreading his legs.
And he goes, no, I got a titanium hip, and the mentor goes, yeah, well, I have a 5-inch dick. You don't hear me bragging about it. That had to be one of my favorite quotes from the entire show.
Absolutely.
He said you don't hear me complaining about it.
No, he said you don't hear me
bragging. He said bragging.
He said
bragging. He said bragging. He said bragging.
But yeah, no. For some reason, I'm glad this is not true. For some reason, I thought that mentor died in the the first time I ran through it. So I was like waiting for him to die, and I was like, oh, he doesn't die. That's cool.
Yeah, that kind of threw me. I know
when he got shot. I'm not gonna.
I know how TV shows sometimes will change up directors and stuff like that for certain episodes, and it kind of threw me off how that episode it flashed forward and be like, oh, psych, we're gonna come back and we're gonna get to that. And it kind of threw me off, honestly, because that's not how any of the other episodes were set up. And I was like, wait, is this really? And honestly, when I saw that, I rewinded back and made sure I really focused on it because it kind of threw me off. And I honestly don't know if I like that, but that's all. It's just a network throwing in a different director, giving a director a chance.
Yeah.
So I didn't write it off on this show. But
to be fair, that was also the only episode that really deserved that kind of direction.
Whoever directed that episode did the best directing job out of any episode on this first season. That show legitimately got me to care about that mentor character. I felt like there was a good fucking dichotomy there. The shots of that episode were fantastic. Legitimately, outside of the later episodes, which are just like climactic episodes, this was the best episode of the show.
Yeah.
Well, and his banter was phenomenal.
Hilarious. He's a funny dude.
He's 100%.
We also
amazing character.
I don't know if we skipped over it at this point, but did we miss Isaac strangling the fuck out of Donnie's mom?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
yeah, that was before.
We did. That was. I think that was the episode before this one. It was, wasn't it?
6 or 7.
Are you sure?
I want to say it was pretty early, man.
I don't know, dude. I feel like it was pretty early. Because I feel
he was hunting for Black Kings.
Episode 7 when he killed his buddy from the army when he got into the secret database.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was before he went and found out of Black King.
He didn't kill him, but yeah.
Or he sent him off. Excuse me, sorry. My bad. Don't listen to me. I'm stupid.
I watched episode 7, 8, 9, and 10 all back to back. And I know for a fact Donnie's mom thing happened before that. So
I watched all of it back to back.
So for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about is Donnie, who was Bob Lee Swagger's spotter back when he was a sniper in the Marines. His mother helped Bob Lee early in the season. Well, then because Bob Lee went and helped and got help from her, she knows what's going on and knows Bob Lee didn't do it. Isaac was told by Meacham to go fucking strangle her. And instead of being a real one and taking her and going hiding her somewhere, this motherfucker decides, no, you know what? I'm just going to strangle her to death. I'm not even going to shoot her in the fucking head. I'm going to strangle her.
Oh, no, here's the other thing. these people need to remember that Isaac also served with Donnie overseas.
We mentioned that.
They all.
No, I know.
So did the guy who was at the VA. Everyone served together, which is the point.
So, like, this is like he knew her personally, especially after Donnie died.
And he still gave her the UFC choke. He still gave her the UFC fucking Anderson Silva. I'm gonna choke you the fuck out.
He said,
"I'm gonna make it slow." When he was doing that, it was pretty ugly. It was not did not look like he was really doing the job.
I legitimately gave him the benefit of the doubt twice that scene because it cut away before he got her. Right, I was like, okay, he didn't get her. Then he came back, showed him again. I was like, okay, he definitely didn't kill her. The only time I was like, fuck, he really did kill her was when they showed her body and it was lifeless. I was like, wow, he actually fucking killed her. That's when I was like, that Isaac character is fucking dead to me. No, he can't redeem himself.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like as viewers, since we believe that, like obviously this is foreshadowing a little bit, but how did Bobby Swagger just be like, oh, I need him versus anyone else? Like what? Like I don't know. That's foreshadowing. We'll talk about it later, but it's just like, come on now. That another thing that upset me.
So, continuing with the anime trend, in episode 6, when he's with his mentor, after they fight a fucking platoon of squadron of mercenaries that came to fuck them up, and one of the most badass action scenes of the entire show, my second favorite, to be honest, of the entire show, after he fucks them up, his mentor gives him what is called a Black King sniper rifle.
And there's 4 of them. Hey, we never found out where the last one was, though.
Last two.
No.
Okay, Austin, you agree with me, right?
Last one.
One is with the guy at the gun show, right?
Yeah, one is with the guy at the gun show. One is at the billionaire's house, and one is Bobbly Swagger's hand. So we don't know where the third one is.
Is it really at his house?
And I assume foreshadowing that's probably second season. But anyways, that's
hold on.
Too much
foreshadowing. Is it at its house anymore? Because we remember what happens at the end of the season.
We'll get to it.
It blows up, but anyways.
What happened? We talking about the Black King sniper rifles?
Yeah, we don't know where.
We're talking about what happens. We're talking about what happened. I'm saying we saw what happened on Scott's.
Hey, we already. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We already gave spoilers,
we'll get there.
So we can talk about it. The last one, it's decommissioned. It's fucked up now. It can't fucking.
There's only one that we don't know the whereabouts of.
I thought there was
exactly.
Season 1.
No, there's one. Because Lon Scott has one.
Yes.
The guy at the gun shop has the second one.
Then
Bobley Swagger has the third one.
Did the guy at the
fourth
gun
one we
shop
don't know
have
where
one?
it is.
The guy at the gun show had one. Yeah, he showed him one.
Yeah, he had it. He had it.
I was telling you guys this the other day, and you didn't believe me.
And
I wasn't there.
Hand
I agree with Tristan and Austin. Enrique, yeah, there's 3 that we know of.
Okay.
So in the first season, there's 3 that we know of. We don't know about. I assume probably 4. The second season would allude to them.
Yeah, this is where the anime comes in, where he's got to collect all 4 of the hidden.
I was gonna say, he's obviously going to collect all 4.
Yeah, he's collecting the Dragon Balls now. He must collect all 4 of the Black Kings and take them out in a 1v1 sniper battle on Rust, like Modern Warfare 2. But yeah, so he got the Black King.
1v1 on Rust, y'all get fucked up.
He got the Black King, which is pretty cool. Again, that sounds like anime shit to me, to be honest, but...
I'm gonna have to discuss my disdain for something when we get there at the end. No. It's for the end, to be honest.
Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Personally about the Black Kings, I was like, this is personally, in my opinion, they're trying to. It's hard for me to grasp this show and the fact that, in some points, they're trying to fully grasp the realism fact, and other points, they're fully trying to grasp the anime fact, as Enrique keeps saying, and it kind of jumps back and forth. And to me, they don't necessarily collide. And then maybe normally shouldn't, but I don't know. That's kind of one of the hard things for me. Like, oh, there's only 4 of these sniper weapons in the world, and this random dude on the fucking hill has one. Like,
that's why I feel like
he might come back.
Sorry, the mentor. The mentor.
Yeah, the mentor.
But anyway, Enrique, continue.
Yeah. The mentor makes sense. Like why he would have one.
I can understand why Lynn Swan, all the money in the world, buy one. I don't necessarily. I kind of understand why the guy at the gun show has one. I don't understand why the mentor has one.
This is the anime in me, right? This is the anime in me talking.
Yes, that's the anime part, and that's what I'm saying. It jumps back and forth. I think anime, and it's kind of hard to grasp.
They're supposed to be given to like the top snipers in the world at the time. So Bob Lee got his passed down to him from his mentor. His mentor deemed him worthy of having the Black King, right? I feel like it probably won't happen, but this is just the anime in me talking to him. But that guy at the gun show might be someone. And we just don't know yet, right? Like he might be like an undercover or something. He comes back.
Question.
because I feel like if you're gonna mention the Black Kings and how there's only fucking 4 in the world, and this guy has one, he has to be someone, whether he comes back or not. And then you go to Lon Scott, who thinks he's on par with Bob Lee Swagger. We don't necessarily know the quality of snipers right now, right? We only know a little bit of the quality of snipers. We don't know how good Lon Scott is compared to the other guy, who I think has a Black King, which is Solotov. I think he has the last one.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
But so we'll find. I feel like the next 2 seasons, because there's 3, will be him trying to go get those, to go get all 4, right? So he got rid of Lon Scott's. It's gone now, and then I feel like he'll go get the other 2 later.
And he'll go get them and destroy them because they're powerful to control.
Yeah, that's again anime. It's like the Thanos and the Gauntlet type shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So real fast, was the guy at the gun show with the Black King the same guy who played the dad on Good Luck Charlie?
I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you.
I've never seen Good Luck Charlie, so I wouldn't fucking.
Good Luck Charlie's really
God
good.
damn.
This is bugging me.
I don't think it was that guy, to be honest, because I've seen Good Luck Charlie, but I wasn't looking at that motherfucker's face to pay attention.
I was saying, drop it in the metaphorical chat
True.
if this is true or not.
In the comment section down below.
Yeah, comment section below.
Okay, and so then you get to episode 7, which is the introduction of Lon Scott. My favorite villain of the season, Lon Scott.
Because he's the only good one.
I thought he was a pretty good villain, yeah.
He legitimately, his psychopath nature and how he just wanted to beat Bob Lee and that's it, was very fucking cool to me. He just wanted to kill Bob Lee. Like, that's his whole gimmick. He's like, I don't care about the government. I don't care about Krokov. I don't care about you. I don't care about your family. I want to beat you in a 1v1. You know what I mean? On Rust.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool to me. I think he was the coolest bad guy. And what are you guys' thoughts of Lon Scott?
He was dope, dude. He was such a good. He was just a good bad guy.
I like that he had the Alex from Warzone freaking one leg.
Yes. Oh, it was him. I was right.
He was crippled the whole time, running around sniping.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't remember much of episode 7. I think that was really just set up for the next 3 episodes. But basically, it was Bob Lee just gearing up for fucking the fight coming up in the next episode.
Yes. Yeah.
If you guys remember more, let me know.
That's the one where they scoped out his mansion, I think.
Yeah, he's scoping out the mansion. That's the picture I have for the...
Yeah, that's where that leaves off, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, so then, if you guys have any comments on episode 7 at all? Any more?
I don't think so.
You asked for everyone's opinion on Lon Scott, and I didn't really put anything in, but my only opinion about Lon Scott, which I think this was episode 9, which is a little far ahead, but we've alluded to a little far ahead anyways.
Yeah.
It kind of pissed me off how he's like, oh, I want to be better than Bob Lee Swagger, but I'm just going to make him come to a golf course wide open with no fucking weapon to retaliate. Like, and Bob Lee Swagger is 100% correct in the fact that maybe this guy is good in a complete environment when he's not getting shot at, but when he starts getting shot at, he'll probably fuck up.
It's like
he's 100% right in that fact.
It's kind of like golfers who can golf at the driving range, but they can't do it on a green or something like that.
Yeah, and it honestly, like, based on how strongly he wanted to be better than Bob Lee Swagger, I feel like in reality, Bob Lee Swagger should have been on top of the actual golf club versus him. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing that kind of pissed. I know it's farther ahead.
But maybe he's a psychopath, though. Like, to him, that's a win to him, though, because he's crazy. He's batshit crazy. Right. That's a win to him. Him killing Bob Lee with a sniper rifle is a win. He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care if it's fair or not.
You're right. You're right about that.
I do agree with what Austin's saying, though. Like, it's a sport, you know? Like, it's going to be different when you're under pressure. Like, you take basketball, like, you can take 100 free throws. At one, under pressure, fourth quarter is going to be a little bit different. You're a quarterback, and you're making throws to your receiver on practice field. It's going to be different when you got D lineman in face, you know? Yeah. Shooting, it's going to be different when you got shots fired back at you. So like, and that's what Austin's saying. I totally understand that, but like, it's a win to him. You know, he's a psychopath. That's all he wants is him dead. Anything. That's the end goal. He doesn't care that he's getting shot back. He just wants him dead.
Here's the other thing.
Go for it.
Probably Swagger can't be better than him if he's dead to be better.
That's better to him.
Yeah,
it's like collecting your tag.
You're right.
It's like, well, that's
But-
on I have that body on my gun. That's on my gun. I killed Bobby Swagger, so by default, I am the best now.
Right.
But at the same time, I would have assumed that they would have given the character a chance to literal 1v1, because that time wasn't an actual 1v1 because Bobby Swagger didn't have any chance to attack him. Because if you think about in the time when they came up with that agreement and he was standing out in his driveway and he has crosshairs on us right now. It's so exhilarating. It would make you think that they would actually do an actual 1v1. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that means he's actually going to want to do an actual 1v1 to really prove it. But, I guess not.
It wasn't about that action ever.
Yeah, but
No,
it kind of confused. It kind of confused me in the sense that he didn't want to do an actual one, even though at that time he was like, wow, it's so exhilarating that he had.
As a reasonable human being, right? You have a good point. Like, as a reasonable human being, you gotta just look at it from his eyes. He's fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if like in your mind, you're like, I wouldn't want that win unless it's 1v1. In his eyes, he's like, I don't give a fuck. I just want the win.
Right.
It's like Ric Flair back in the day, where he said, to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? But it doesn't say under what circumstances.
You're right. At the end of the day, he's fucking crazy, and you're right.
To him, he's already in a bad circumstances for himself. He's crippled, right? So to him, he's like, you not having a gun is just making it fair, right? That's in his eyes.
Yeah.
And he said that earlier in the season too. He's like, I didn't even get to lose my leg for my country because he couldn't even be in the military, and he was already mad at that. And I think he was trying to take out his revenge on Bobley because he got to live out his dream, kind of.
Yeah.
As that sniper. But
So that was Lon Scott in episode 7. Then we go to episode 8, Red on Red. Good episode. Great episode.
Yeah.
Top 3 episode.
Great episode. Yeah.
So basically, he sets up he tries to double cross everyone and sets them up all to fight each other so he can pick them off for the easy win.
I thought that was kind of dope.
It was pretty sick. It was mind games type shit.
Yeah.
And that's like
it was cool. Dope, but why was Krukov still fucking being in his house at that point? Just fucking Krukov, just fucking get the fuck out of there and trust your own people instead of fucking him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this is like, Bob Lee is legitimately one of the smartest characters in the fucking show. Or in the universe. With his game planning idea, it's something I don't want to talk about till later, but he does something at the very end of the show that makes me go, okay, he's the smartest motherfucker in the universe.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it until we get there.
We'll get to it.
When he,
we'll get to it. But so
we could probably get to it. We're close, but
he goes to the Red on Red. He sets them all up. They start fighting each other. Payne starts fighting with Krukov. Krukov starts fighting with Payne. Meacham's there for some fucking reason, also getting involved, and it's like all that kind of bullshit. And he's just playing all of them against each other. And then, but they know he's playing. They know he's playing them against each other, but they can't do anything about it, really. You know what I mean? They all know, but there's nothing they can do. And then Ash it's a pretty good episode. Like, I don't know your guys' thoughts on it, but it was good.
Or episode 8?
Yeah, Red on Red.
Yeah. Personally, I didn't like it as much as Reek does. I did like the idea of it, but it wasn't like a top 3 episode for me. I thought it was pretty good, but like it definitely there was nothing that stuck out for me at that episode.
I just think his determination in the last 3 episodes wasn't cool.
Oh yeah,
he went beast mode and he was completely in like Juggernaut mode. Like, I'm not dying.
Yes,
you all are dying. And it was impressive to me. I don't know how Austin and Tristan feel. How do you feel about it, Tristan? How'd you feel about episode 8?
I don't know. It was cool. It was cool, I guess. Just kind of it's a lot of setup though.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really take off till the very end when he does the fight at the airport. But I don't know.
But I mean, I appreciate setup though. I like the long game.
Yeah.
Personally. So that was pretty cool.
Any thoughts on episode 8, Austin?
I mean, I can kind of agree with Tristan. It's like they're just leading up to the end, and honestly, at that point, when I was watching, personally, I can say that I watched it all straight through, and I was getting kind of honestly not really tired of it, but I was like, okay, I know what's gonna happen. I'm ready for it to get done. So personally, at that point, I could be a little biased and admit my bias and be like, I was ready for it to be not done, but I saw it was going to happen. I was like, okay, they're leading up to this. So like, let's get to that point. So that's what they were doing with episode 8. And I feel like you could say the final episode was 2 episodes, which was episode 9, episode 10, and that's what they do with most TV series. So I was just waiting for them to get to that final point, the final battles of everything. You know what I'm saying? The final battles when everyone dies or no one dies or whatever, leading into season 2. So I feel like it was kind of a filler thing and trying to lead into that.
Mm-hmm. So to be fair, I think the way that Reek approached the show, watching 1 or 2 episodes like kind of every day consistently, is the way to go about this kind of show. And watching it all through one day, it's not like a binge in one day type of show. It's a sit on a couple episodes a day type of show and think about those kind of episodes.
I 100% agree with that.
And I don't mean that in like it's a bad show, you can't binge it, because obviously like I kind of binge it as well. But like it's easier to like kind of put everything in a concept, like if you just kind of think about like 2 at a time instead of watch it all 10 together. Mm-hmm. In my opinion.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
But, yeah, no, I okay, I can see where you guys are coming from, but to me, I feel like the build up to episode 8, the anticipation, it was the calm before the storm, right? Episode 8 was right before everything kicks the shit, and then episode 9 is when it gets there. So if you guys are cool with episode 8, when like we're done talking about it, I want to get into episode 9. Are you guys
100%?
Oh yes. Okay. Oh, absolutely.
Episode 9 is my favorite episode of the entire season. It was the best episode, and I think it's the shortest episode too. Let me check.
Yeah, by like a minute.
It's by 2 or 3 minutes. It's the short. It's only 39 instead of like 42.
Yep.
So this was the final hangar episode, correct?
Yes, this was the hangar and the golf course.
Yeah, this included the golf course. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with you that this is your favorite episode, because I can agree. The fact that of the golf course and the hangar was my favorite parts. The obviously next part wasn't my favorite, so I agree with you. So sorry for cutting you off, but go ahead. Continue.
No, it's all good. So I think this episode, I think it has all 3 of these scenes. It has where he infiltrates the building where he thinks his wife and kids are. It has where he goes into the golf course and has the sniper get sniped. It was Jack Payne. And then it has Lon Scott's death scene.
Yes.
Before we get to Lon Scott's death scene,
I don't think any of us are going to argue that this is the best episode of all of it. I believe so. So that's 3 out of 4. Tristan, what's your opinion?
No, it definitely is.
So yeah, this is obviously the best episode of all of it.
Yeah. The whole situation where him and Isaac go SWAT team into that fucking office building was sick as fuck. They went
so cool.
Like, they just busted in there. They were like, you got my 6, I got you, Semper Fi, ooh-wah. And they went to that building and said, bop, bop,
they were doing the stuff. I was like, ooh.
I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing. This is lit. How can this get better? Lon Scott thinks he's a beast. He took that shot at that dummy that Bob Lee threw up. He headshot that bitch right away. But then Bob Lee's like, gotcha, sucker, and took off before he could rechamber. That was sick.
Yeah. That was dope as hell.
That was one of the moments. That honestly was one of the moments, though, that I wish Bob Lee Swagger was on Overwatch instead of, because that's his whole stigma, is that he's a sniper. So that's one of the moments I wish he would have been on Overwatch instead of man-to-man. But I understand why they put him man-to-man, because obviously they were playing him.
Well, he's also trying to save his family. He's not going to play Overwatch on his family.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And
but he I
feel like they were setting up for his big sniper scene in episode 10.
100%.
Yes.
And so that was dope. I want to break this. I want to go pace by pace before we get to Lon Scott and the golf course. So any other comments on the office building infiltration part?
I like their communication on the whole wave over thing. I thought that was kind of cool too.
The hand signals.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty normal stuff though.
Yeah, but it's cool.
I thought that was cool. Like a little.
It is.
I agree that was cool. I had a slight issue still that he did basically his life and his family's life with this guy that tried to fuck over his whole life. You know what I'm saying? So that's an overlaying issue that I had with the whole show, that he personally had to trust Isaac for the last 2 or 3 episodes, And that was an issue that I had, but I understand that Isaac had honestly nothing to lose at that point.
He's just a bitch that goes with his best interest no matter what. He's not like a bad or a good guy. He just goes in his best interest, and it's usually dog shit.
His character makes no sense.
Yeah,
he has a well-paid off job from his like retiree bonus. He works for Homeland or whatever the fuck. He has good money.
He works for the Secret Service.
Secret Service. He has
Just
good
part of
money. Like, why the fuck do you need to go make more money by doing this setup shit? Like, I don't understand how that makes any sense.
Why do you have to go behind the back of your fucking government?
It makes no sense.
Okay, he got strong-armed a little bit.
Did he?
Yeah, but he could have just
100% strong-armed him.
He could have just said
Meacham
"fuck you,"
never
Meacham, like how he did overseas.
Okay, this is my issue again. Meacham never called anyone. Everyone took his word for word of mouth. He never got superiors involved. He never once showed how powerful he was. Meacham literally, for all we could have known, Meacham could
Which
not
is why
have
I
been
said
a part
earlier
of
in
the
the
Secret Service
show
or
that
CIA
I
or
was
whatever.
like, Meacham could have been some random guy off the fucking street because no one knew. No one knew what
he's extremely
Meacham
aggravating.
really had. Yeah. No one knew what power Meacham really had besides the power he had with the Russians. Kind of, not really. Because at the end, the Russians were like, "Fuck you, Meacham. We don't give a shit about you. We're going to show up and do this shit ourselves."
Exactly.
So no one knew about the power that Meacham really had because in our eyes, Meacham didn't have any real power.
He didn't.
We don't know what Meacham came from.
Because
we don't know
what they offed him.
Yeah.
They offed him right away. They didn't give a fuck about Meacham.
Yeah.
They killed him off screen. Off screen.
Which is why Meacham. Which is why Meacham is one of the worst characters in the fucking show.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
His death scene was hella lame for a lame ass character.
Exactly. It was just stupid. So
moving on. Yeah.
Moving past the office infiltration, we go to the golf course. Right, that's next, right?
Yes.
Coolest scene in the show. So Bob Lee finds out his family's not there. He finds out his family's not there and that they faked him out again.
Finds out his daughter's not there. His wife's there. His daughter's not there.
His wife wasn't there either. At the office.
His wife was. Oh yeah, at the office. No, but
at the office. Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about.
So he finds out no one was at the office. So he goes to the golf course. He calls them up. They're like, "All right, you got us this time, kid. 1v1. You stand still. You let Lon Scott take shots at you. You know what I mean? Deal."
I still have the biggest issue with that.
So then Jack Payne shows up with a shotgun to the back of his wife's head. He has his hand taped to the trigger. He's like,
kind of dope.
He's like, if you try to kill me and my body drops, the shotgun's going off instantly. So you can't touch me, bitch. And then Lon Scott's just taking shots. Well, Bob Lee Swagger had a motherfucking plan. Bob Lee Swagger earlier in episode 8 had set up bullets in Lon Scott's sniper. He let them. It's the red bullets he found out.
Just the one. It was just the one.
No, he switched out one, but it's the red bullets he
found, and it was one that he made.
I know, but he switched them out in episode because he found out about those in episode 6. So then he comes back and switches it out in episode 7 or 8, and he switches one out.
It was 9 actually.
I don't think so. I think he did it in 8.
It was 9. No, it was 9 because
he did it before he got there. Before he got to the office.
He was definitely making the actual round in episode 6 or 7, 100%. Because I remember seeing that and being like,
I remember that.
He's just making.
But he dropped it off episode 8. He dropped it off.
Yeah, he dropped off at episode 8.
Did he go to the house in episode 8 at all?
Yeah.
But he only went into the house the one time.
No, because that was the time he walked in with his hands above his head.
Because
I'm just surrounding myself to talk to him because I know that Lon won't kill me.
He met Lon face to face 3 times. He met Lon when he came to jump Lon by solo 1-on-1. He met him at his office, and then he met him at his house.
Yeah.
At the house is when he planted the bullet.
No, and I'm seeing that. That's literally the scene that it's showing in episode 9 right here.
But that's a flashback.
Him at
what
the
he
house.
did in 8. Because the flashback, Tristan. He went to the house in 8, and then after Lon Scott gets got, they showed that he planted the bullet there.
Yeah.
When he went there in 8.
Right.
Okay, so then he switched out the 3rd bullet there because he knew that Lon Scott couldn't hit him right away with 1 bullet. He knew he was going to take a couple shots. And he purposely fucked up the calibration so it would take a couple shots. So he fucked with the calibration on his sniper so it would take a couple shots. Then he planted the 3rd bullet in the clip when he thinks he'd be fine to blow up on himself when he shoots it, blow up in the chamber.
Yeah.
So then Lon Scott goes to shoot, boom, it blows up and blows his fucking jaw off, half his face off. Sick as death in there. That was the gore I was looking for. That was the gore I was looking for. That shit was cool.
That's so cool.
In fairness, that disappointed me.
How so?
How
so?
I wanted Bob Lee to 1v1 him and just blow his face off on his own with a nice little.
I agree with you. I feel like that should have.
That's what I was. That's how I was expecting that to happen. I think it should have happened.
I feel like he outsmarted him instead of outskilled him, and we're all leading up to hopefully that he was going to outskill him. But
exactly,
it just it just shows the outsmart. I mean, it wasn't exactly what we wanted, but it was still enough. Cool. I feel like
I was more than satisfied with that.
I was more excited with that.
I was satisfied with how it happened. Like I was like, that was super cool. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was amazing how they set that up.
I'd rather
never think it was going to go another way.
I'd rather have him do that than snipe him, because this was the game.
Really, you would have rather him do outsmart him instead of outskill him.
This is what Bob Lee was trying to explain to him. He's like, this isn't just about sniping, bitch. Like, this is an entire different game. It's a mental game on top of the sniping game, on top of the planning game, on top of this. Like, I'm a soldier. You're a sniper, right? Like, Bob Lee specializes in sniping, but as a whole, he's a fucking soldier. He's a beast. He
said verbatim, "You're a marksman. I'm a sniper."
I understand he said that, but at the end of the day, he's a complete soldier as well. He's not just a sniper. Lon Scott is just a sniper. So in him beating him shows him that I'm smarter than you. I could have outsniped you if I felt like it, and he doesn't give him the satisfaction. Lon Scott said I would be fine dying at the hands of Bob Lee's long gun. He'd be fine with that if he died like that. Bob Lee didn't give him the satisfaction.
In this discussion, we're obviously 2v2, so drop in the comments what your opinion is.
Facts. That was sick. Dope as death scene.
Well, no, because once again, I'm not saying that I dislike how that happened as a whole. I'm like I think that was dope what they did. I thought it was dramatic. I thought it was beautiful. But it's just not how I wanted it to.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I just disagree. But one little thing that I actually really enjoyed was that he put it in the third slot for the bullet, because he didn't know if you reach from the front or the back. And I thought that was cool, because he's like, it's going to take him definitely 2 to get the sights all narrowed down, or at least 1 for that. For 2, he's just going to miss because he's dog shit.
No, he knew that because he fucked up the actual calibration. He fucked up the minutes and everything on the actual scope.
That's what I'm saying. He knew that. Yeah, so it's going to take at least 1 shot for the calibration to go back, like for him to like kind of adjust where he wants it. The second one, he gave. What?
I was going to say he gave him hope. He gave him hope to actually be able to finish the job.
Yeah, I guess that too, but like I'm saying, he gave him 2 shots for sure either way, because he's not going to take the first one and then the 5th one. You know, he's going to take the first one, whether it be the closest to him or the furthest, and he didn't know whether he was going to grab the furthest or the closest. So either way, he's going to take 2 shots.
That would be something I would have done, though. I'd be like, front. Like, it's got to be symmetrical.
I know.
Some forehead thing I would have done.
I know. I'm just saying, if he puts it in the first slot because that's the closest, well, maybe he's a sniper that takes it from the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, you know, and then he's got 4 shots. So either way, max 2 shots before he dies.
Yeah,
you know. That was something cool to me, I guess.
I agree with you saying.
I kind of want to go back to. I wish, obviously, he beat Lon Scott on a mental game, not on a skill game, and the whole series. It was about how good he was, and we didn't really see how fucking good he was until the last episode. You know,
like the last, like almost.
So I understand what Tristan's saying. I wish we could have seen how good he was earlier in the actual season versus in the last. You disagree? Let's hear your opinion.
Episode 4. I think it was episode 4 when the flashback when he's in wherever he is, Iran or Iraq or whatever, and Isaac's gonna get die.
The top of the grenade?
No. When Isaac's gonna die and then he snipes like 7 motherfuckers.
Yes.
But that's back then. We don't know if he can do that now.
But that's the build.
That's the only question.
To show you. Like
that still shows his skills.
Yeah. I mean, I wish that showed his skill back then. I wish we could have had one example of his skill right now with the exact circumstances that he's in.
But that's what they were building to. That's the anticipation, though.
It is. You're right.
Yeah. They were building to that.
I mean, okay, based on what Reek was saying earlier about Solotov having the last Black King, that's what the show is building to.
Yeah.
Is Solotov versus Bob Lee Swagger. 1v1.
On Rust.
Yeah.
No hard scopes.
Exactly. Lon Scott is like Hawkeye, and Solotov is like Thanos.
Yeah, Lon Scott's just there for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. He's just another average Joe compared to Solotov.
Yeah.
Solotov's the only one that's gotten close to killing.
Exactly. only one close. But
R.I.P. Donnie.
But yeah, so then that happens. He blows up Lon Scott. Then he has Isaac. It was Isaac, right? He had on the gun.
That also bothered me.
He had Isaac on the sniper, and Isaac then snipes Jack Payne's arm off.
That was dope.
Okay, here's the thing. They really showed how bad of a character Jack Payne was by having someone that he was aligned with through the entire show basically sign his death warrant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how bad of a character.
I don't understand. I don't really I personally had an issue with how Bob Lee Swagger could trust Isaac after everything he's done. Just be like, hey, I'm put my family's life in your hands right now. Make sure you snipe his hand off so I can grab it.
He didn't really have an option.
There's no explanation to explain it away. I can't lie to you.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's one of the frustrating things I had. It was like, really, y'all had to set it up to where you had to trust. Come on now.
I would have rathered the mentor was the one that took the Isaac role.
Wouldn't
100%.
That would have been so dope.
I would have rathered his fucking daughter took it than Isaac.
Daddy's a ghost.
Daddy's a motherfucking ghost, and no one knew.
Yeah, can we? I mean, we talked about how bad she was, but we didn't.
We'll talk about it in a second. You can buy Daddy's a Ghost merch at redbubble.com/thebinge boys.
Redbubble.com.
Buy Daddy's a Ghost merch.
So how'd y'all feel about her being in the Russian embassy the whole time and that whole scene of him? We're holding up a little bit.
We haven't really talked about Jack Payne getting his arm sniped off yet.
Yeah,
go for it.
That was
okay. I have a question. Was it worse that Tristan spoiled this for you, Reek?
Yes.
Tristan spoiled it? What the fuck, T-Max? Way to be a fucking dick.
Dude, I let it slip.
Asshole.
I let it slip. Oh, it was so bad.
So
I let it, dude. I was distracted by the game.
Get someone else. We don't want you.
I was on my Bob Lee Swagger grind, dude. And I let it slip.
Yeah. I was just wondering if it made it worse for you, Reek.
So
than it would have.
I expected it to happen at the air hangar in episode 8. I was expecting it there after
really?
Because I thought he was going to fuck with Payne by just blowing his arm off on purpose. And I thought that would have been really cool and funny to like make everyone scatter by shooting them in the fucking arm and making them think they double cross each other, right? But it didn't. And then as soon as I saw him doing the arm thing with the shotgun, I knew it was happening. And I was like, okay, this is where it's happening. He's not making another episode.
Fairness, I feel like you might have predicted something like that happening.
I probably would have.
If I hadn't said it.
Yeah, I would have predicted that.
That's
or
fair.
His arm was coming off one way or another after what you saw.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say they have had in this whole movie. This whole TV series. I felt like they had issues building up to some things, and I feel like that was one of the better things they built up to based on how they executed the guy who was allegedly the guy that shot at Bob Lee Swagger but didn't kill him.
Oh yeah, like the
So
parent suicide.
I feel like that moment when he duct taped his hand to the sawed-off shotgun to the back of
sort of poetic justice.
Yeah, I feel like that was honestly, I feel like that was one of the better things they built up to in the whole series.
That part was pretty good.
Yeah, because they actually gave look, he does this similarly to other people. And then he said, I remember his dialogue, he said, sorry, I didn't have much time to plan for this, so,
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see him get his comeuppance and get fucking out of the paint finally.
100%. You got two death scenes in 5 minutes.
Yeah, so how do we feel about Bob Lee's hot wife finishing him off with a shotgun to the face?
That was pretty good.
It was lit, but it goes back to my
chest, I guess.
It goes back to my old one. Is she really that savage to be able to do that? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're building up to season 2 and everything like that, but is she really that savage to be able to do that? Because I was questioning that earlier. Is she really that savage to be able to threaten the life of her sister's husband? But I don't know.
I mean, she's dating somebody or married to somebody in the Marines. I mean, I'm sure he taught her a couple things.
Yeah.
How to protect yourself,
I mean, I hope that, and I wish in the first and second episode we would have gotten. I wish in the first and second episode we would have gotten a shooting scene of them shooting long range. Because if they would have been shooting long range, because she said Bob Lee Swagger never misses. How is she supposed to know that? Yes, she would know that if they've actually gone. If they showed us that they've gone shooting before. but we don't know that they've actually gone shooting
Did
before.
she
We
think
can
that her husband's just lying to her about all these things he
I was
told her?
gonna say.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. If we would have gotten one scene of them together and him hitting bullseye every single time, dead center of chest, doing 2 to the chest, 1 to the head every single time, then I would have been like, okay, I can understand that. So I feel like if they would have given that, I can believe the wife's character is a lot more than I do right now.
It's the highest recorded kill total, though.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's what Tristan's
This is
saying.
This is a known fact.
Yeah.
Even like his wife knows this. You can't like nobody fires that many shots that they can miss a ton and still have the most kills. You know what I mean?
Or still be breathing.
Like, exactly. Yeah. Like
If you're gonna fire 2
that
shots,
guy, if you're gonna have that many kills, it's because you don't miss.
Yeah, I agree with Tristan.
No, trust me. I know what you're saying, and I follow your logic.
I just feel like
that the argument against it is already there.
I understand what you're saying. I just feel like if we had one scene or one 5-minute scene of them shooting together, then it would have
that would make sense. I think that would make sense too.
It would have solidified her character a lot more than it did without that. And they could have easily slid that in one of the first or second episodes, because that's all the first episode was about the backstory. Or about how daily life is for them.
Well, I think we saw some of like how like badass she hid very well the fact that she knew he was alive the whole time.
Yeah.
Like she did a good job with that. We saw her freaking it in the penthouse in the one episode.
The one episode, there were multiple episodes and they were freaking it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, no, there's only the one where, there was the one where like they opened with this scene and they had the specific scene where they was at the cabin or something.
Yeah.
But like
he's talking
we
about a
knew
metaphorical penthouse, not a literal one, Austin.
Might be.
Yeah.
Nobody was in any penthouses.
There was no penthouses.
There was no penthouses, man.
I was going more for the freaked out part than the penthouse part.
Yeah.
But no,
Sheesh.
it was episode 10 was all good. I mean, episode 9 was all good.
So 9 is good.
9 is the best of the season. Like a 10 out of 10 episode.
Yeah, we all consistently agree that episode 9 was the best part in episode 10. Like, personally, I feel like the whole Russian embassy part was like a little, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan, honestly, of her getting stuck in the Russian embassy, in my opinion.
I have literally almost no comments for episode 10. I thought they could have ended the season on episode 9, because episode 10 was just kind of, I felt like it was a lot of tacked on shit.
It was actually
100%.
They did not build up to
100%.
Russia. They didn't build up to Russia. It just happened out of nowhere. That's why I feel like episode 10 is actually a bottom 3 episode for me. Like,
I mean,
really?
Yes.
Really, I don't know if it's a bottom 3, but
I don't know about that, but I get what you're saying.
I feel like they definitely did build up to Russia based on like Payne and Meacham and basically Isaac, because Isaac works for Meacham. That everyone technically works for Russia because they're all working for him. So I understand the whole point behind it, but at the same time, I feel like I 100% agree with you that they could have ended episode 9.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being the wife, it should have been Payne with 2 shotguns in his hands to both of the kids' heads.
Yeah.
That's what it could have been, because we don't have any ending with Krukov.
Yeah, I don't.
You know, he didn't kill Krukov. He didn't do shit with Krukov. He just basically snuck his daughter out. You know, that's all he did.
The whole Russia segment was just for America. Like, that was it. Like,
it was for America, and I feel like it was more than like we haven't. I personally have not seen the second season. I assume it's foreshadowing, so I can see that. But at the same time,
Russia's the big bad. It seems like Russia's the big bad of the series.
The big bad, yeah. They're the one who's really controlling all the bad.
I feel like you could have saved Krukov dying for mid-season 2 if you wanted to.
Yeah,
but it felt like they weren't gonna do a season 2 and 3 at first. That they wrapped everything, because all the plot lines are wrapped up by the end of episode 10, right? Except for one scene that they added in after, like at the very, very end. Then everything's not wrapped up. Because when, like, you know, I'm talking the sit down talk we had with the one person.
Yeah, the chick.
Other than that, everything was pretty wrapped up, and the series could have ended there. like season 2 and 3 didn't feel like, I felt like this show could have ended on season 1, right? Which makes sense because it's based on a movie, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's based on
seasons 2 and 3. I know Eli said it get better, but I'm genuinely curious what they're gonna do and how they're gonna make me as a viewer feel invested and feel that Bob Lee going back into whatever he's gonna do is worth it.
And I don't remember, to be honest. Like, either way, whether we vote to or not to watch it, I'm gonna watch it. Mm-hmm. Like, because I'm curious for myself, but like, at this point, I don't remember, you know. So,
I personally want to say, based on how episode 10 ended, I mean, again, I don't know how season 2 or 3 goes.
We'll take a vote later.
Yeah, obviously. I don't know how season 2 or 3 ends, but if they missed a big opportunity to be able to take out Krukov in episode 10, because he's in the embassy with Bob Lee Swagger. Bob Lee Swagger could have had an opportunity to take out Krukov, possibly when they're in the same fucking like 400 square foot. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. And the fact that he didn't take him out, it was kind of lackluster. We were, you know, he took out Meacham. He basically demoted Payne. He ended Payne's life. He took out fucking the billionaire. He did all of that shit, but he didn't take out Krukov, which were the 4 main protagonists in the whole fucking thing. And he didn't take out Krukov, and we're like, the whole episode. Sorry, you're right. The whole episode 10 was about Krukov taking his daughter, but he didn't do that, and he just snuck his daughter out, and then they just meet on the side of the road randomly with his wife. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to the DEA now. Sorry, go to the FBI now. Sorry. Like, I don't know.
He just didn't give a fuck about Krukov, to be honest. Like, these other people actually wronged him. He just didn't give a shit about Krukov. He didn't necessarily want to kill Krukov, but then when Krukov came to go get his wife and his kid again, he was like, fuck it, you gotta die now.
Right. And it's kind of crazy to me because he's so family oriented that he took out everyone else who was abusing his family and taking advantage of his whole family vibe, that he didn't take out Krukov. He should have taken out Krukov.
But he's also a patriot, so he knows if he were to fuck with Russia, it'd be more than just him affected by it.
In the embassy, yeah.
But the main guy, the embassy dude, I forget his absolute title. But he was like, hey, I don't give a shit what Krukov did. Here, go to the basement and get your daughter.
Because so at that point, he doesn't want to start a war. If Bob Lee kills Krukov there, that's a war starter. If Krukov
I don't feel like
kills Bob Lee at the embassy, that's a war starter.
I say, take it this way: you have a Marine who goes into a Russian embassy and takes out one of the higher officials in the Russian embassy. That's a war starter.
Instantly.
I feel like a lot of things that happened in this TV series would have been a war starter. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of things would have been a war starter, but
right, a lot of it's covert.
It is covert. It's
Cold War type.
I feel like a lot of things that happened could have been, but you know, at that time, I wish he would have, and obviously later, when Krukov was actually offending his actually trying to attack his family. And he did that shot that I don't even know would ever be possible without a 50 cal. And just, you know, we can get into that. Let's get into that. Let's
Black
the
King
final
bitch,
actual
anime motherfucker.
Let's get into that final fight.
As Rick was talking about later, big brain play. One of the smartest
decisions.
First,
or we're talking about big brain. I think also let's talk about the snipe first.
Oh, I mean, okay, yeah.
The Krukov snipe. The Krukov snipe was badass. It was cool and all, but I feel like by that point, I just didn't give a fuck about Krukov, so it wasn't satisfying.
Oh, I thought it was dope as hell.
The snipe looked cool, but it wasn't satisfying to me.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get the satisfying part. Like, it's not like a Lon Scott death, you know, or like a Jack Payne death.
No.
Like, I hated those motherfuckers. But, like, I don't know, Krukov, like, I don't know. I just thought the whole, like, scene was kind of dope. Like, he sets his family up at the motel that he can see from his sniper scope. Like, that's a big-ass brain play. So he can snipe him. But the thing is, he's putting his family in danger and almost killed him, you know?
Gigantic brain.
And that's why I have a problem with it, is because he put him as bait.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
And in every other sense, he never would want to put him as bait. He would put himself as bait. He would never put them as bait, which was the biggest issue I had with that scene.
I feel like he felt like they had to.
But I also feel like he doesn't know that he chipped his daughter. You know, he says, that's a last resort. Like I have them in eye shot just in case something goes down. Like it's not like a bait. Oh, I know he's showing up. This is a just in case. You know, he doesn't know that he's gonna blow up.
Exactly.
So that's all. Yeah. So I kind of go back and forth.
Okay. Well, before the Krukov death, how do you feel about, because he obviously fucked up everyone. How do you feel about the last sense when he was like, "Hey, look, here's my rifle. I'm not gonna fuck you up."
To Isaac?
And that dude didn't take the shot. No. I'm not talking about Isaac. When he is behind the tree, and the guy said, "Here's my rifle. Look, there's my rifle. I'm not gonna fuck you." Like, and that dude, and the Russian guy, literally said, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot you if you fucking move any muscle." Like,
Deus Ex Machina.
I mean,
he straight up double knifed him.
Deus
yeah,
Ex
and then he
Machina.
threw the throwing knife at him, and I was like, dude, the Russian. I mean, I don't know. It's just little shit like that which always threw off the whole series.
I'll say, I don't even want to critique that because I thought that was kind of cool, and I don't.
I thought it was dope. I thought it was dope what he did, but literally, like 2 seconds earlier, the Russian guy, if you move any muscle, I'm gonna fucking shoot you.
I 100% get that.
And so
but
maybe
the reaction time was way off.
Yeah,
maybe
It wasn't even reaction time.
the Russian guy, didn't have, like, the Russian guy should have shot him right then and there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't able to react in time. Probably waited for the exact moment when he was starting to let his guard down. What he did.
Yeah.
Because he's a sniper. He's a patient guy. He knew he was going to be able to find that moment.
I don't know. The Russian guy said that he wasn't going to let. It pissed me off that the Russian guy went into a whole dialogue instead of just taking the shot, because the Russian guy literally said, "Hey, I'm going to take the shot if you move," and he did.
That's how it works.
Any movie or TV show
Cartoon,
is.
anime, anything. They're gonna explain why they're doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
He pulled the Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Bro, it's the Incredibles.
Like, no platypus.
It's Syndrome from Incredibles. You sly dog, you caught me monologuing. Like, that's literally it. It's the syndrome. Yeah. It's you sly dog, you caught me fucking about.
You guys are right. I mean, I'm looking too deep into it. Like, this should be real life, but it's still just like, hey, he said he was going to do it.
I was treating this like an anime. Like,
you're right.
It was just batshit. Like, it was hilarious.
Once it got to the scene that he was in that office complex, I was like, okay, come on now. Like, I don't know.
So I think you might experience fatigue, to be honest, because you watch so much at once.
I agree with Rick.
Because like some of the stuff you're complaining about, I don't have an issue with, but I did watch it over the course of like half a week and a half. So you kind of sat through it all at once. So I could get pretty pissed if it kept stacking up on me over and over instead of taking a break. You know, so I can understand where you're coming from in that situation. But I don't know. It was also pretty cool how he goes into the Matrix. He went to the Matrix at the beginning of the series, of the season, and the end of the season he went to the Matrix again, where the numbers showed up and shit, and he started blasting fools. That was dope.
I wish they would have shown that a lot more, personally.
You can't overuse that shit.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
After you overuse it, so once you know he does that, it's like, okay, he's going batshit again.
Mm-hmm.
So past that, we talked about the crew call snipe already. The end, right? Let me. I want to go off on this, right?
Yep, go for it.
Bob Lee is Light Yagami from Death Note. None of you have watched Death Note. Death Note is on the list for me. I will probably throw Death Note in there. You will learn who the fuck Light Yagami is, right?
Okay.
Holy shit. He fucking made sure the rifle he had and got caught with evidence couldn't shoot the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He knew the whole time he's getting set up. And I kind of got hinted to.
Yeah.
Looking back, they did hint at it. Because when his mentor talked to him, he's like, you didn't know better than when they came to talk to you to ask you come back to service not to do that shit? And then I was like, oh my god, he did know better. And I was like, holy shit, he's the biggest big brain ever. In my notes, I said, Bob Lee is literally Light Yagami. What the fuck was the point of this season if they didn't have evidence on him the whole time? I guess, but I said that, but then I instantly, after I wrote that, I knew what the point was. The point was to make sure his family was okay. The whole season was never about Bob Lee. It was about his family. That was I gotta protect my family.
Yeah. Because he could have easily been like, go shoot that rifle and see if it'll actually shoot.
Because then I feel like, but then they don't give a fuck though, because then they'd go kill his family anyways. So I feel like season 2 and 3 will be about Bob Lee doing what Bob Lee wants to. I think.
It kind of upset me at the fact that they were acting like it's all about Bob Lee, and then it showed to his family, it was also kind of showing how great the director and everything was at that point.
Oh, the USA lady, the secretary lady?
Kind of. I mean, it kind of upset, like I was saying, it kind of upset me, the fact that I was like, hey, the whole time, this rifle... Well, I don't know. They would inspect that. It would fully inspect that rifle. It wouldn't take them that long to inspect that rifle.
But I understood that as well. That's why I said I wrote that. Like, what's the point of the whole season then? But after that, you realize what the point was, right? The whole point was that no matter what, even if he proved he didn't do it, they would still just ditch the evidence and kill his family anyways. So that was like the rifle not shooting was like his biggest backup plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the backup plan, basically.
I don't know. It could be just TV show shit, but I feel like he added drama in places that didn't need to be added drama to if he knew that he shaved that down 2 millimeters to where it would shoot. So, I mean, I feel like it was just
you could say that about everything,
TV show shit.
Because he could have just said, I was helping protect the president at the beginning. He never said that to anyone at all.
Yeah. So
I thought that was dope as hell.
It was dope. I thought it was very cool as fuck.
I feel like it was cool, but like I said earlier, it's the same time they jump between realism and, like, as you were saying, Enrique, anime shit. And it's kind of hard for me to, realism and anime, there's a lot of fucking differences. So.
Of course.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard for me to bridge the gap sometimes, So
I feel like at a point you got to make it interesting, though.
Yeah,
you do,
and I feel like that makes it interesting for me.
Mm-hmm. I just have an issue. I just have an issue with it that they're pushing realism until they don't want to. Until they're like, fuck it, we'll just go full fucking anime mode, and then they'll go back to realism.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest issue I have with this whole season was that fact.
It was really just your mindset. What's your mindset going into it? If you expect it to be realistic, I wasn't expecting American Sniper level from this. I wasn't expecting super realistic. I wasn't expecting Zero Dark 30 from this or anything like that, or like Put Locker. I was expecting more of a fun show, and that's what they gave you. They gave you more of a fun show. Because if they make a Zero Dark 30 or a Put Locker type show, it's just going to be depressing throughout it. It's not going to be fun.
Exactly.
It's not going to be Bob Lee doing cool shit. It's going to be his family would have got fucking killed on the first episode. The rest of the series would be him coming back. So instead of him doing that, they made him just Superman instead, which is more fun.
Yeah. American Sniper isn't that real. That real of a movie. Anyways, period. We'll just
I haven't seen that.
We'll just put that down.
I have seen Put Locker. Put Locker is very serious.
It's really. I haven't seen Put Locker.
And Zero Dark 30 is more realistic and real as well.
Everyone acts like American Sniper is very realistic, and it's really. But anyways, we'll just sidetrack that. And that's the hardest thing.
It's like the difference between Call of Duty and Battlefield, right?
Yeah.
You think about it. Where like Call of Duty is more like fast-paced fun. Battlefield's like a military sim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not super military sim, but it's a little bit more realistic. That's the kind of difference between shooter and other military shows.
And that was the issue I had. That was the issue I had with the whole season was they had points where like, hey, this is uber realistic, and the other times like when it's just, oh look, it's just drunk fucking hunters trying to hunt some fucking coyote and trap them. That's not realistic. So that's the one thing I had an issue with is that they would jump from two extremes. You know what I'm saying? They didn't really find that. That's one issue I had with this whole fucking series so far. And maybe they treat it better in the second and third season. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So
yeah. Well, I guess for the most part that wraps up the season 1 discussion and everything like that. Unless
I have one thing to say about the discussion between Isaac and the Secretary of State or whatever her title was.
Yeah, at the very
Defense. Secretary of Defense.
Secretary of Defense. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like that was a good hook into the second season.
It really wasn't.
It was not, in my opinion. A better one would be if they were to introduce Solotov or something that really gets you interested for the second season.
Yeah. If they killed Isaac at the end by having Solotov snipe him, that would have been sick.
Or if they would have killed his daughter, I wouldn't have had to watch again. Because I'm just satisfied.
Dude.
Sorry.
Oh
anyway,
no!
But I don't feel like I'm like, oh yeah, your job isn't done. Like that, I don't care about Isaac's job.
Me neither.
After all that, no one gives a shit about Isaac.
That's not something I care about, So it doesn't it's not a good cliffhanger in my opinion. And yeah, so I just wanted to say that.
It's not.
I got to be critical.
Because because during episode 10, Bob Lee was like, I don't want to see you again. So we were okay. We don't want to fucking see him again. We expect not to see him again. Like that's how it ended. And then look at it. Here he is. Like, how are we supposed to care about this guy after Bob Lee was like, okay, he already paid his dues. We don't.
Yeah, like I said, the first time I watched it, there was already 2 seasons. But I feel like what happened is they released the first season, added that last little bit in because they wanted to make a second season once they were done filming. Because they wrapped it up perfectly if they would have made one season, like Enrique said.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a great 1-season show. They didn't set up for the second season.
Yeah, so adding that one little scene that doesn't really relate. Well, I don't know if it relates. I don't remember really what the second season's about.
I don't think it relates to anything.
I don't feel like it piques interest or anything.
Yeah,
like
it does a poor job of trying to bring more interest to Isaac.
Right. And I don't find him interesting. I feel like he's just a snake, and I don't really like him.
Yeah, 100%.
So back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway,
is it time to vote?
I would just say general series thoughts before we get to the vote. I thought the show's good. I think that if they stick with the tone they're doing with like more lighthearted fun stuff, I'll enjoy it. Like I said, it's like a 7 out of 10. The show's pretty good and enjoyable for me. That's about all I got to say about the show as a whole.
Yeah, Eli, what's your consensus?
100% agree with what Rick said. I probably liked it a little bit more, but that might be the bias of seeing it before and seeing all 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm. I'm still consistent, like based on all the conversation I'm still consistent with. I feel like 6 out of 10. It's a good show. It's better than average. I feel like some of the inconsistencies about it have diminished it for me, and some of the realism, like them jumping between realism and quote unquote anime, as Enrique can say, kind of ruined it for me personally sometimes. But that's just me because I've experienced some of that. I've experienced minor some of that realism. But so, I feel like they would have left it on episode 9 and how he got his daughter back within that episode 9, and she didn't go to Krukov. It would have been a fucking amazing season, but they had to try. I feel like they added episode 10 to try and oh look, Krukov's still going to be here, but he's not, obviously. So they had to add that episode 10 to try and lead into season 2. So that's my
T-Wax.
Tristan.
Well, I enjoyed it thoroughly, to be honest. I thought it was good overall. There's obviously some things that I didn't care for as much. I'm genuinely curious to see where they're going to take it from here. I think, going off of some things Rika said, Molotov is the game. I think that's pretty obvious at this point. What happens to get there will be interesting. What else might pop up is a curiosity for me. See what could happen.
I see.
I just hope there's more Bob Lee Swagger doing his thing in the next 2 seasons.
True.
All right, time to vote.
You guys go first. I'll go last.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I feel like, personally, I kind of discontinue episode 10, and I focus on episode 9, and I feel like I am content with episode 9. I'd be okay with watching more, but I feel like, for me, season 2 is a no, because I'm maybe it's a bias to where I'm more looking forward to what I suggested, and curious what your guys' opinion is, but I'm gonna go no. It might be wrong, but
there's no wrong answers here.
Yeah, there's no wrong opinion. You can say whatever the fuck you want. You're a grown man. You can say what you want. Eli or Tristan, you can go next.
I go for it, Tristan.
I'm gonna say yes, because I have a general interest in what could happen still, where it's gonna go, stuff like that. Like, is who's gonna pop up? Like, most of the storyline stuff. I'm curious to see where some of it could go. So I'll say yes. Plus, I know. Okay. It's only 2 more seasons. So, it won't be. I won't have to wait too long for answers in that sense.
Right.
Okay, 1-1. Go for it, Eli.
I'll say mine. Like I said, I've seen it before, and I was going to watch the show whether we started this podcast or not because I forgot kind of what happened. I was interested to see where it went again. And like I said, I'm gonna watch it either way. But I honestly think that this episode, like we obviously had a lot to talk about, a lot of opinions, and I think that can be that way with any show that we put out. But I think like it sparked our interest as far as discussion points, and for that reason, I do want to talk about the second season as well. So yeah.
Okay, Enrique.
So I'm in a solid maybe position, but I'm going to say yes with the condition, right? I say yes, we do finish season 2 and 3 if we do 2 and 3 in one podcast episode. So the next 2
I like it.
We do 2.
Yeah, I would definitely be able. Obviously it's a 3-1 right now. I said no. Everyone else said yes. But for next week, I would definitely be down for
to clean it up, like
concluding. Yeah. Concluding season 2 and 3. So it's consensus now. We're gonna do 2 and 3, and we need to clean it up to fully get the full grasp of the whole what happens.
Because I genuinely enjoy the show, like I said, but I thought the low points were pretty low for me, and it was nearly frustrating at some of the lows. So I feel like if we were to finish out the show, I'd be satisfied by watching the show and learning the complete story of Bob Lee Swagger and his saga, and we'd also get the satisfaction of having our own discussions and our own opinions out of it. So for me, it's a yes if you guys are willing to do season 2 and 3 in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean it's a 3-1, and that's fine. And that's the one thing I hope personally. I'm the only person that said no. And I hope for the most, and this is going to be my personal opinion before we continue to season 2 and 3, as we're wrapping this up. And I feel like everyone should give their personal opinion heading into season 2 and 3. Should be, for me, I hope we get more Bob Lee Swagger, more flashbacks of Bob Lee Swagger and his wife, because I feel like the focus is going to turn on him and his wife precisely. And I don't know that, because I have never seen 2 and 3, but that's what I hope. I hope we get more of Bob Lee Swagger's past, Bob Lee Swagger doing more of what Bob Lee Swagger should be doing, which should be sniping from long distance, sniping from God knows how long, and just taking people out, and no one knowing that it's about to happen, being the sniper that he should be. So go for it, whoever's next.
I mean, if you guys, like I said, my conditions is that, and then so far all of you guys have said, yeah, right, we're willing to do season 2 and 3 in one go.
Yes.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, so I'm completely fine. Like I said, I enjoy the show. I think it's going to be good. I think we're going to have a good discussion out of it, and I think that wrapping this up would be good for all of us, and then we can go to the next show in the next month. Yeah, so that's basically it for me. I mean, anyway, pretty much, I think we're good. I mean, we did the vote, we did everything. So if you guys want concluding statements or anything like that, we're good to go.
Yeah, I kind of said everything I wanted to say. I mean, like I said, I'm just as interested as everybody else. I don't really remember what happened. So,
all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there's no ladies here, but we hope there's ladies listening. We love you.
Ladies, we wouldn't mind having you here, though.
This has been the inaugural episode of the Binge Bois podcast. Podcast.
The
Binge Bois podcast.
I have a cast on my bod right now, actually. It's kind of uncomfortable.
This has been the inaugural episode of the Binge Bois podcast, and thank you for listening. If you listened on YouTube, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts under the name The Binge Bois. That's DABINGEBOIS. That is DABINGEBOIS. The Binge Bois. We spell shit like idiots here.
We are because we are idiots.
By the next time an episode comes up, we should have Twitter and Instagram pages up for you guys. If you give a fuck, we would be interested in you guys having suggestions. If we garner enough listeners, we would love suggestions, so we're not the only ones putting in show ideas. And even if we don't use them, we have good recommendations for any of us, honestly. If you have anime recommendations for me, TV shows for the rest of us, or any movie recommendations, we appreciate it. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Anything you guys got to say to conclude, boys? I want to thank the viewers for listening.
I'll thank you guys again for putting up with us. We hope you enjoyed. Follow your boy at Mixed-In Traxwell for disappointing yet funny content.
I can say, add to the list. We keep talking. We mentioned the list a couple times in this. Y'all can add to the list too, not just us. So the more y'all add to the list, the easier it makes for us. And again, you can follow me at Austin David Carter on Instagram. That's all I do. So go for it. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah, add to the list. Obviously, all of us like watching TV and movies. I wanna know what everybody else is watching too, and yeah, I'm not gonna plug anything. So
fair enough.
Eli isn't a plug.
Eli's too strong for everyone else. That's how it be.
You can find me on Instagram at Enrique Barrera, Enrique.Barrera. That's RIQUE.BARRERA. You can find me on Twitter at Enrique Megatron. That's ENRIQUE MEGATRON. That has been the Binge Boys. Thank you. We'll be back here in 2 weeks to talk about the rest of the shooter and what the fuck we've been watching.
Sir.
So thanks for listening.
Probably won't
See you,
be
ladies
anything
and
else.
Goodbye.